And what's going on, people? Welcome to 2021 and the first episode of the fourth season of Next Podcast. That's right, guys. We have been around for a while. We are a seasoned and experienced gaming podcast crew. What is going on, chat? Good to see everybody in here, guys. I am excited. Again, season 4, episode 1. We have a brand new mascot as well, and I gotta let you guys know something real quick. When it came to picking the mascot, I know I put out a poll on YouTube, and it was really close. And Master Chief won it, but Senua from Hellblade was right there. And man, I was trying to contemplate where we were gonna go with this, but since it is the 20th anniversary year of Xbox, and since Halo Infinite is gonna be coming out this year, I thought, what better mascot, than the Master Chief. So we got the Master Chief in all his glory representing the Next Podcast for 2021. It is good to see everybody in the chat. Guys, if you didn't do it yet, you can do it with me because I didn't do it yet either. Just hit that thumbs up button for me real quick. Share this out on social media. Let people know where you are tonight, where the gamers should be at to hear the gaming news and entertainment. And guys, I got to introduce the panel. Absolute fire tonight. And I'm gonna start in the big old state of Texas, the Lone Star State, where
yeah, buddy,
my brother Predator resides. What is up, bro?
Not much, man. Happy to be here another weekend. Got a new guest, my boy. I'll let you introduce him in a minute. And let's go, man. We got some topics. First show of the season. Let's go.
Let's do this, man. Let's do this. And next on the list, we're going from the middle of the country. Now we're going over back to the East Coast because he lives in the same state I live in, and he knows about that CT life. He is a hardcore Gears fan, but he will surprise you if you check the list of games he plays on Xbox. I guarantee he will surprise you. Crispy, what is going on, bro?
Oh, what is up, everybody? What is up, chat? Yes, we are back. It is January, and we are ready for 2021 to transpire, and hopefully it's better than last year, so let's go.
Nice. And for people who don't know, January is my birthday month, by the way, so I am really, really excited. Guys, next on the list, we're going all the way to the West Coast, my West Coast brother. The man who just gives no, has it been 5 minutes yet? No. The man who just doesn't care, and he will share his opinion no matter what. And of course, he used to save the world until he gave up that job and said, you know what, I quit. Knoxximus, what is up, brother?
Well, it doesn't help that people keep fucking it up, and I have to keep saving it. That's the biggest issue. But what's up, man?
Dude, were you over on the East Coast yesterday at all to help out or anything like
no,
that?
I stayed far away from that.
He was a Viking helmet.
Hell no, I was not one of those people.
Yeah. Yo,
you guys got to remember, I live in a blue state, so I'm just saying.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Yo, shout out to Dennis Haas. January is his birthday month, too. That is awesome. We are birthday brothers. Mine is on the 15th. If it's the same day, that would be absolutely insane. Guys, the next panel member, I got to apologize for, because when it comes to these meets, there's supposed to be a doorbell that rings, and you kind of bring the panel in. But I went to go get a cup of water, and I think he tried to come in at that point in time. So I left him waiting at the door to the point where he is now eating dinner. But I think he has time for his introduction. Yo, what is going on, K-Mega?
What's up, man? What's happening? What's going on? Glad to be back. Another year. Glad that we made it through 2020. And just ready to get the year started. You know what I'm saying? Just doing all types of stuff. And you don't have to worry about that. I kind of figured that you was busy setting things up and doing everything because I was trying to do something earlier and OBS was acting a nut. So I was like, oh, maybe he's having problems with OBS or whatever. But I'm finna get back to some eating. You know what I'm saying? Glad the guest is on. What's happening? And everybody else, good to see y'all. And I will be back after I get finished eating this buffalo burger.
Nice. Well, just to let you know, for your OBS, you might need an update. I just got an update before we went live, so that might.
Yes, I just did get the update for the OBS, but Streamlabs isn't launching, so I'm trying to figure what's going on with that. So I probably might have to uninstall it and reinstall it. But okay, we'll see about that. But anyway, it's all good.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Yeah.
And now, since a couple people have already referred to our guest, it is my pleasure to bring back to the panel the host of Four Guys with Quarters and an overall community guy. I mean, he is out there supporting the community, supporting up-and-coming YouTubers, whether they need help, they need endorsements, stuff like that. This dude is all over the place. It is my pleasure to welcome back my brother, Italian Clowns. What is up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's a pleasure being here with all of you guys tonight. Can't wait to get into some of these topics, and I hope one day we all play golf with friends. All right, let's do this.
Wow. And he knows it's all about PGA 2K21. He knows this,
21.
he knows this, man. Yo, well, Crispy, you haven't been on in a while, so I don't know what's going on there, bro. Work must.
It's called work is kicking the shit out of me. There we go. Yeah.
Dude, I'm actually in a slump right now. I'm not swinging the clubs right at the moment. So it's actually good that you're not on right now, bro. So you don't have to watch that and experience that, bro. Guys, we have a lot to kind of like cover tonight. There's a lot of stuff going down. A lot of interesting topics, and when it comes down to it, I think we're gonna let people kind of like shuffle in here, get everything started. So let's start with what I'm calling Battery Gate one more time, and the reason why I'm bringing back quote unquote Battery Gate, and for people who don't know, it's the fact that the Series X and the Series S controllers are also now using AA batteries. We all know PlayStation has moved on to an internal battery system. We all know the Xbox Elite controller has an internal battery that lasts damn near like weeks before you have to recharge it. But it came out by there was a spokesman for Duracell that basically stated that the reason why these controllers are using AA batteries, and I'm looking for my... There it is. All right, I pulled up the article. But the reason why they're using these AA batteries is because there's a partnership. He basically said that there's always been the partnership between Duracell and Xbox. It's a constant agreement that Duracell and Microsoft have in place. The deal is for OEM to supply the battery product for the Xbox consoles and also the controllers battery, so that the deal is going on for a while. It's been going on for a while, and I think it needs to go on for a while more. And of course, this man is a UK spokesperson for Duracell. So when it comes down to it, that was the Duracell guy talking about it. If you look at what Xbox said, they actually responded to this and said, "We intentionally offer consumers choice in their battery solutions for standard Xbox wireless controllers. This includes the use of AA batteries from any brand," and I love how he put "from any brand" in there, the Xbox rechargeable battery charging solutions from our partners, or a USB-C cable which can power the controller when plugged in to the console or PC. Now, Predator, I'm going to go to you first on this. This is a bit of business in here. Now, do you think it's funny that a Duracell spokesperson came on basically to try to hint like, there's a partnership there and it should go on for a lot longer, because I'm pretty sure Duracell is happy that they have at least 2 batteries in every box of controller, every console for Xbox. When it comes down to it, it's kind of like a psychological thing. A lot of people go out and think that they need Duracells to keep, putting into the controller. And dude, what do you think of kind of like Xbox's response here? It's something that I've thought about, in terms of options or whatnot. But what's your take on this, Fred?
I'm actually curious of why because typically Microsoft doesn't come out and then say something when like they'll say something like we don't speculate on rumors or something like that. They really came out like literally like right after they said that, and I wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes between those two companies. But for Duracell, like obviously them having the batteries in the Xbox, and in other devices too. Like I'm sure they have them in TVs and stuff like that. That's just marketing. That's just free money for them. They're if Microsoft is paying them, let's say, I don't know, pick a freaking TV remote, that's paying them too. Like that, they're getting their product out there, so obviously they want to keep that coming. It's just free money for them. But if you think back, last generation, what kind of batteries did you have in your Xbox when they came? Anybody remember?
Duracell.
No, they were Sony.
No, they weren't.
There were Sony batteries. I took a fucking picture of them.
You said last generation? Like the
last gen. When you got your Xbox controller, when you got your Xbox, you had a Sony battery in there.
I do believe you are actually. I have to agree with you. Yes, I do believe that is true.
I made a joke about it, so I know.
Oh, are you talking Xbox One generation or 360?
No, this Xbox One generation, the one you're in right now.
Dude, anytime I got a controller, there were Duracells in there.
The OG.
The OG definitely had it in there, but I think the One X also had Sony in there too. So
no, One X didn't.
See,
I think they had.
I got Crazy Greek, dude. I got Xbox Live Mike. Both saying that. Pred, you are absolutely wrong on that.
Okay, that's fine. I know for a fact that they were Sony's at one point in time. I can tell you that much. I know that for a fact because I have a picture on my fucking Twitter. I can find that motherfucker. I'll dig fucking 2 years back, 4 years back if I gotta find that motherfucker. But I have that picture myself. I know I
was that when you bought an Xbox or was that when you bought just a controller?
No, I bought the Xbox and the batteries that came with the Xbox for the controller were no shit Sony's.
Wow.
Somebody stole the Duracells, man.
So they probably changed up and went to Duracell at some point in time. So the OG Xbox was not wired. He's always thinking the OG Xbox. I'm talking about the Xbox One Fat. That one. I'm gonna dig this up while we're talking about this topic.
Yeah, definitely do that, man. But Pred, while you're doing that, just real quick, when it comes to this whole situation, we've heard people time and time again, like social media, some like guests on the show or whatever. When it comes to what Xbox is doing, with the controller and how it's powered, and you look at PlayStation with the internal battery, like which side are you on, man? What would you want when it comes to the Xbox controller?
I can honestly say that I've never had a battery fail on me in a controller that was rechargeable. I personally myself, when I have like my Xbox controllers, with the exception of my elites, the elite that I currently have anyway, that's rechargeable. My other elites, I've always had like the rechargeable batteries that I've never had an issue with batteries. I don't give a shit. Like it doesn't bother me if I gotta charge it. But I will say this though, with my PlayStation controller, when I had the Slim, even with the 5 I had, when the battery went down, I didn't know it went down. Like I hated having to plug that thing in while I was trying to, like, if you want to play a game and that battery's dead, you gotta go hardwire. You just have to remind yourself to do it. But I was never. I'm an advocate of them just saying, hey, if we're gonna have a rechargeable battery, we need to give you a rechargeable pack for it, so you can plug and play, or at least have a docking station for it when you get done. I hate having a wired controller now that I've been Gucci-ized to not having one. So, but like having a battery doesn't bother me. It's still a battery. It's just a matter if it's internal or external. It's like it just gives you an option to change it out.
Okay.
I will say when I have just regular like Duracells, the ones that aren't rechargeable, I feel like I burn through those a lot faster. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just feel like when I have those batteries, like I'm done. If I'm playing a game like, let's say I'm playing Assassin's Creed, like no life in that, like that battery, I would have had to change the thing out like 10 times, So, but like a rechargeable battery, like I just pop it. I invested the money on that that rechargeable pack where I can just plug those batteries in, pop them out, and pop them back in for a reason. So, like, I mean, I don't see the big deal. I don't even know why this is an issue with some people. Just, you know, you got to charge something, whether it's external battery or internal battery.
Yeah, and here's my take on it, and we're gonna go to the rest of the panel, like on what side I'm on or whatnot. I love the fact that Xbox will give you the option. And yes, the battery pack, you know, it's more. I think it's like $25, $35, something like that, in between there. But with that, I will let you know that I still have the original battery pack that I got from 2013. And it still works great. You know, granted, I use my Elite version 2 controller a lot now, and that battery pack is insane, but that's a $180 controller right there. That life better be insane on that controller. But to have the option, because if something happens with the controller and it comes to the in terms of the battery, if it's an internal battery, like, you have to go out and just get a new controller. You know, that's my whole thing. Where with the Xbox controller, you know, batteries run out, you can switch them out. If the battery pack, something happens to the battery pack, you don't have to throw away the whole controller. You throw away the battery pack, and you can use batteries until you get a battery pack. See, and it adds to the life of the controller. So, you know, people out there that are saying, you know, oh, it's so last gen and stuff like that, you know, say what you want about it, but it's more options. You can put a battery pack in, or you can use batteries. And if there's something wrong with that power supply, you don't have to throw the whole controller away. You know, I like that. You know, me being a grown ass man, like I like saving money where I can, and that right there to me will save me money in the long run. But let's go to our guest clowns here. Now clowns, you can tell that you're more than a guest, man. You're family, because you didn't even get the question first this time. Like, so you're blending right in with the panel. What do you think about the whole, you know, Duracell spokesman coming out and trying to hint at a deal with Xbox here, man?
You know, I'm not too sure what that's all about, to be honest with you. I think that the way that Xbox does it now with the batteries in their controller is perfectly fine. And this whole Battergate thing of like, oh, well, your controller's not rechargeable. Here over on this other platform, we got rechargeable controllers. Like Predator alluded to, man, like if those things go bad or something, you got to get rid of the controller or hopefully trade it in, and you have to buy a whole new one. With the Xbox controllers, you have a choice. You can put in the Xbox rechargeable batteries and then plug in the USB-C now to charge them. Or you can buy rechargeable batteries yourself, like the Analoop Pros, put them in. Or you could just use regular AA batteries. It's more options for you. And for some people, they might just go to the dollar store and buy a pack of like 4 AA's that are super cheap, like those really cheap Panasonic ones, and throw them in the controller just because they don't have money to go splurge on this other stuff. You know, so I like the options that Xbox gives us. And I think it's so backwards for a company to tell us this is the only controller that you could use on the platform. It has to be this rechargeable one. Like, they don't have other options. Like, I would be happier with the DualSense or DualShock that had the option to put AA's in as well. That's just my preference, because I just think that over time, these things wear down. These rechargeables don't hold the same life anymore. It's not like a permanent thing where the Xbox controller, man, you can just change the batteries and it's like a whole new life set for that controller. With these PlayStation ones, no, you can't do that, man. Like, the thing's dying. What are you going to do? Open it up? You don't know anything about rechargeable batteries and the thing explodes on you? I mean, and the other thing too, like if these things ever overheat and the inside battery pack explodes, how are you going to clean it out? At least with the Xbox ones, if you had a small little leak or something, you get a toothbrush and just like clean, the contacts. So, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. This whole Battergate just needs to go away.
Do you consider internal batteries quote unquote next gen, or do you like? I think of it more slimming away options instead of it being quote unquote next gen. Like I don't like that situation, to be really honest with you, unless the battery life is so long, like the Elite version 2, where you get over like 40 hours before like you even think about recharging it again. But like, what do you think? Is it quote unquote next gen, or is that more like marketing, and what they're doing is kind of like slimming down your options when it comes to like the PlayStation controller?
What they're doing is they're being very slick with their marketing. They're convincing all these people that they have the better option and the more futuristic controller because it charges. But in reality, what they know is it means that they're going to sell more controllers because these people over time are going to, something's going to happen to that controller. It's just not going to charge right anymore. So they're going to get rid of it. And Sony knows the money's going to come right back when they buy another controller. It's like, unfortunately, it's like marketing sheep, right? And I'm not calling everybody out there sheep, so don't take it that way. What I'm saying is that Sony thinks of you that way. They think of you as a dollar sign and not as an individual person who might need cheaper options. And this whole thing with Duracell, if Xbox makes a deal with them, I mean, that's good for both companies, right? If they can get cheaper batteries, I mean, the options are endless. Duracell could make a battery pack for Xbox that might work better than the one we got now. Or, cheaper batteries to come with your controllers for Xbox for the price point wise when they include them. So it means beneficial. I don't see any problem with it.
Nice, brother. And shout out to my brother Chipmunk, who is in the chat. What is up, everybody in the chat? It is good to see you guys. Like I said, hit that thumbs up button. Share this out. Let people know that we are live right now for episode 1 of the fourth season. We have been around for a while, guys. We have definitely been around. Crispy, dude, what do you think about this Duracell spokesperson trying to you kind of nudge in there and be like, yeah, no, Duracell and Xbox, we're tight. We're tight. That's why those batteries are in there. And what is your preferred option as well, man?
This is kind of funny to talk about. So I just want to ask the panel real quick. Who's older, Energizer or Duracell?
Duracell.
It is Energizer.
Really?
Energizer was founded in the 1890s, and Duracell came to fruition in the 1920s. What from what I hear, because both of them are in the rechargeable battery products. Like, actually, I've had a Duracell rechargeable system for the Xbox 360, and then recently I've had an Energizer. The Energizer lasted about 3 years. The Duracell lasted about 2. From what I hear, the Elite Series 2 has basically Energizer technology in it, because they've really went all in and trying to be the new dog in making technology. Duracell is more or less happy with what they got. Yes, you have the Optimum series now, so we don't know what that's going to come, but they're not rechargeable, and that's the problem. What Sony's using is, I believe, proprietary technology that they have. The problem is that their battery life does not even come close to what the Elite Series 2 is using. So I think the actual get to the point, it's probably true that they do have a partnership with one or the other battery manufacturers, or both. You don't know. The option that we have with Xbox is incredible. There are some batteries that last close to as long, it feels like, as the Elite Series 2, if you want to purchase that. But you could also spend the $15, have a whole charging station and everything else, and it'll last 8 to 10 hours. And we never have to replace it. If the controller, and that's always the problem we have. I mean, Pred can attest to this. If the controller can hold up, we could literally have that controller forever. You know what I'm saying? So it really comes down to their technology into the controller itself.
What happened?
You know what I'm saying?
I was saying I'm the wrong person to get test to a controller lasting.
No, right? what I'm saying is I'm trying to confirm the fact that it's never about the battery. Now, I will say this, you know, being around people that have PlayStation, they have to replace the entire controller rather than the batteries because of the battery life. Like, the whole point is to be untethered from the console itself. And you're going to sit here and be tethered, and you could play for 2 hours untethered because, you know, you've had the controller since the PlayStation 4 originally came out. And other than that, those 2 hours, you have to be retethered because the battery has deteriorated. And this happens with every battery. Eventually it deteriorates. The thing about like a Elite Series 2 is that the deterioration comes in hours. And literally, I have never had the thing die on me. And I have not charged it for weeks. You know what I'm saying? So whatever they're doing with that, they could do in the other controllers, but how much is it costing them? Because that controller costs almost $200. You know what I'm saying? So what's in that technology that they're not putting out to the whole masses? Instead, they say, let's give them options. Let's not put them in, it starts out as a 20 battery life, and then it turns into a 10-hour, and then it turns into a 5-hour, and then you got to replace the whole controller. You know, and that's the way I look at it. Instead of having to replace the whole controller, I just buy a new set of batteries for $15. You know what I'm saying? So as long as the controller lasts itself, that's the problem that we've been having for a little while. Does the controller take the beating that you know you're going to get, especially if you have kids or anything like that? That stuff happens. Like, that's the stuff they need to figure out, you know, because I feel like a lot of people don't complain about that with PlayStation. Now, maybe they're not saying nothing, but, you know, that's a point to make.
You know, with the twins growing up, with the Xboxes, we were definitely dollar store AA batteries for them. Like, they went through them like crazy, but that was our option for them. While I had a battery pack, before the Elite controllers came out, and again, I like the fact that there's options. I feel like that is the absolute way to go. Otherwise, you're kind of just locking people behind this thing that if something goes wrong with the battery, then you just got to get a new controller. But we got to go to Dark on this one. And Dark, you've experienced both sides, bro. I have too, by the way. I had a PS4, but you've experienced both sides. The internal battery controller that comes with the PS4 and also the PS5 and the options when it comes to the controller for Xbox. So, what do you think about Duracell's spokesperson here trying to show some camaraderie, some business kind of like tie-in with Microsoft? And what is your preferred option, brother?
I mean, good luck, Duracell. I mean, your batteries are fucking shitty.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, good luck to everybody. If Duracell does have a an exclusive thing with Xbox, which I don't think will happen. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what I prefer, because I mean, it's really, I mean, it's really up to other people. Whatever you want. Like if you want an internal battery, then you get get a controller with an internal battery, or if you get an Xbox, get a battery pack. I mean, I think really what it is people spending extra money right out the gate in order to put those batteries, or put those controllers to use, and people need to stop looking at it like that. They need to start looking at it as it's just options. It's just a way to for you to have the ability to use whatever batteries you want to use and things like that. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people think it's inconvenient to have to put in batteries.
Really?
Which that's what they look at it as. They look at it as it's an inconvenience. But I don't think it's that of much of an inconvenience, to be honest. Like it's really just, like, I mean, PlayStation, I mean, they have their DualSense controller now that has actually a lot better of a battery life than the DualShock 4 did. Depending on the game that you're playing, of course. Especially if you're using all the features that the controller has, yeah, you're gonna definitely run out of juice real quick. But if you turn a lot of that stuff off, which you can go in the options and turn that stuff off, you will have a longer battery life. It's just, I think people blow these things out of proportion because they want to create more, console war bullshit. And that's just the nature of gaming, just to create more bullshit.
All right, I got you, bro. And as usual, right to the point, man. I love the start off on your response. That was amazing. So, guys, I want you all to send Dark Optimus Duracell batteries for life. Okay.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, I posted the link in here, and I posted on my Twitter too from the original video picture that I took of my controllers when I swapped out the batteries, and they were definitely Sony batteries that were in there.
Somebody said you bought it refurbished. That's why.
No, I didn't. I've never bought a refurbished Xbox before.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Are those batteries that came with the Elite?
No, those were with the original. I think that was the
okay.
The picture again, but I think that was the OG 1X. I think it was the picture was 2017. So there are definitely Sony batteries in the Xbox. Like I've never, like I have rechargeable energizers that I use for everything, unless they come with the controller. I've been using rechargeable energizer batteries for like 10 years. So those, unless they came with a controller, I haven't swapped them out until then. So those were the ones that came with the controller.
I mean, I honestly believe you because I kind of remember having a controller with an Xbox that came with Sony batteries. I don't know why I think that way, but
on Reddit too. So like, I mean, like someone put the same picture, not my picture, but someone put another picture of them getting Sony batteries. I mean, maybe it's like, one of those situations where, where depending on where the box was manufactured at, that you got Sony batteries versus Duracells, but I know for a fact I had Sony batteries with my Xbox.
Man, if only we had the spokesperson on the show, we could ask him about that and be like, "Hey, dude, was there any point in time where this agreement was kind of like suspended, or in, they didn't renew a contract or something, and then they used Sony batteries for a certain amount of consoles that went out, and I just
that was an Elite. That was an Elite controller. Now I'm looking at the picture. It wasn't an Elite controller.
How do you get? But you're not supposed to get batteries for an Elite controller. Is an internal?
No, the original Elite, not the
number two.
Those were definitely Sony batteries. It was the Elite controller.
Interesting. But yo, we got to get K Mega in on this. And while K Mega starts, I got to run just 2 seconds down the hallway and grab my water that I left by the sink. But yo. K Mega, what do you think about this Duracell spokesperson coming in and trying to talk about, we're me and Mike, Duracell and Xbox are good together. We're kind of like, we got this partnership type going on. And what do you prefer, man? Do you like the options or do you want Xbox to go internal, bro?
I really do think that it's probably one of those business deals that they want to just keep together because of the fact that maybe Xbox was, listening to what some people were talking about, like, hey, it's a little outdated to have batteries in your controller, and maybe that was in some discussions, and maybe the representative from Duracell maybe heard something and then just wanted to just put it out in public, like, look, I mean, we're good together. It's good to have options. Of course, he's trying to make sure that they got, Duracell can still have a partnership and make some money from Microsoft. So that's how I look at it from the whole Duracell representative. Overall, though, the option is the better way. If this is a no burger to me, you know what I'm saying? Even though I just ate me a really delicious burger, but this is a no burger.
Oh, that's what I was wondering what you were eating. It was a burger, huh?
It was a buffalo burger. Yeah, buffalo burger.
Oh, yeah,
really
you
good.
did say that. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if this was a controller that, if there was a difference between having an option of wired controllers and non-wired, then this would be something I would think that there'd be a controversy, because of course, once you give somebody, as like Fred said earlier, like, you giving me the opportunity to play without any wires, I don't ever want to go back to that. The battery situation is absolutely minute. It's ridiculous. It's a silly little argument. And every time that, even when I posted out, it was last year sometime, that I went to Sam's and I bought like all these packs of batteries just because, it's something that, I always do. It's just, you just never know when you need something, or you'd be surprised at what things do still use batteries. And so I just had them. And so I'm like, hey, if there's any of those times where I got both of my, rechargeable batteries, they need to be charged. And now, since my wife is now starting to play games, and then her friend comes over, and then they're starting to play games now, it's like, the juice is running out of them. Of course, and I know life. Cyberpunk, I had to recharge. I had to put in some batteries.
Dude,
because
I gotta say congratulations on that. Every single side mission done, everything done in that game. That's
Dude, he got every car, man. Like, what the hell?
Only thing left I have is to do the NPCs, I think they're called. And I don't have that many left of those, because every time that I seen a side mission, I did as many as I could on that. So maybe altogether I got 40 at the most, 40 of those blue little things left, and then I'll have the game completely done. But like I said, I wore out my those batteries, and so I had it when no accident. I just had those in there, and then I was kind of like, man, I see that I had this charge. And I forgot that I had the Duracells in the controller. But I was like, oh snap, okay, fine. So I just let him run, and just the other day, I took them out. So they lasted about a good week and a half. So I'm like, it's a convenience. Look, I got the PlayStation 4 controller, and when of course, when I eventually get a chance to get a PlayStation 5, I don't see a problem with that. To me, I don't look at it as a situation where it's futuristic or it's in the times, but once that controller, this is the convenience factor of it. Once that controller is dead, what would I rather do? You know what I'm saying? Pay another $70, $50 to $70, or maybe hope for a deal that I can find a used controller for $30? Or would I just want to just get a pack of batteries, or pay $15 to $20 to get to because there's deals that you can find for for those off-brand rechargeable batteries, or just some, go to like a Dollar General store or 7-Eleven or something, and just grab a couple of batteries for a little bit of nothing, and just throw them in your controller. Or if you have some batteries just laying around, that's free. So I don't look at it as a problem whatsoever. I hope Xbox still have the option, because I think that the overall having the option is the best way for anything. So if you make it about, well, we want to go back to having wired controllers, and they even have the option for that. You could go to some place and go get a Mad Catz. Well, I don't even know if the Mad Catz is still around, but they still got controllers where you can get them with the wire or whatever. So it's, what I'm saying, I think it's ridiculous that people make a big deal out of this. If you don't like batteries, don't buy the batteries, but don't try to force what you like upon somebody else. I think it's just one of those childish console war BS moments where people just want to try to act like that they can sit on a soapbox and look down on something, but then when they over here complaining and upset, and then they want to get a refund because their controller messed up or something, or if Sony decides, or even if it's with the Elite or anything, with the Elite 2, it messes up, and then they're out of their spot to where they can't get a refund for it, and they got to go ahead and spend bigger money on another controller, then it's a whole different issue. So stop complaining about it, let it ride. Just get, just use the batteries or don't use the batteries. But I hope that Microsoft will still work with Duracell and just keep them coming. I think it's a cool thing.
Random question. Doesn't the Xbox controller come with a cord, and you don't need a battery to use it if you plug it in?
Regular controller?
No, not a regular controller. No.
Like, you can play without the battery, right? If you
yeah. Like if you bought, like, okay, for instance, there is a one, because I got 3 of these things. The one thing I got is for like I have it for my Xbox. For the I play my Xbox controller with the PC, and so that one that it's got a wire that you hook up into your Xbox, and you can it's a one of those little batteries or whatever. If the battery goes out, you can have it plugged in, and then it'll work that way without the battery. But if people want to do it that way, they can. I've done it that way before, but those batteries don't work on the new controller, on the new Xbox controllers. So they only work on the 360 and I'm sorry, on the Xbox One controllers. So that $25 Xbox brand for that will not, for some reason, that will not fit in the Xbox. But if you get like an off brand, like I have, those batteries will fit in any Xbox.
I have a battery pack, official Xbox. Well, I think it says
the official Xbox one will not work on
charge
the Series X, on the Series X controllers. They will not.
Really?
Yeah, they will not.
That sucks. No.
Yeah, but if you have, but you can get another, because this is well before, because I buy a lot of controllers, and so I was kind of like, let me go ahead and get this, because somebody was like, hey man, there's a deal on this, and it was only like $12 for like 3. So it was like 2 or 3, and so I went ahead and got them off of Amazon, and those fit into the Series X controllers, but the original Xbox One controller pack don't work.
Off the air,
I thought Xbox
you gotta
was
let
about
me know.
options.
Got a battery completely in the thing.
Ooh,
What'd you say?
Yo, what did Dark say?
I said I thought Xbox was about options.
Oh, damn.
It is about options, because I didn't have to pay for anything extra.
Neither did I.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, it is about options, because if it was kind of like if I had to buy a brand new version of this battery, of this external battery thing, then I would be looking at it like, oh, you know what, you got me. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna get me again. This one, but no, I already had 2 other things that already worked with it, so I didn't have to pay anything. Do I find it to be crummy that the original Xbox version battery doesn't work in the Series X controller? Yes, I do. But if there's a cheaper option where you don't have to pay the $20 or $25 for the original Xbox one. So, it is what it is.
Yo, that is crazy. Like I said, K Mega, off air, you got to let me know what battery packs you are using. That which ones fit there, fit the newer controllers. But shout out to Sir X-Man, who came in with a blaze of glory, man. He's letting everybody know that the super chat does indeed work, because he just hit it up right now. Thank you for the support, brother. He says there's nothing worse than your kids taking your batteries from your remote control to the TV for their controller. Brother, I have been that kid. I snuck into the living room and I grabbed the batteries, looked around, nobody was around, snatched them up and brought them back to my wireless controller back in the day. And shout out to Infernal Lock.
Hold on. I gotta make a correction. The battery works. I'm sorry. The battery works. It's the cord that comes with it.
Oh, because it's not USB-C.
Yes, that cord. I'm sorry. My bad, guys.
My cell phone cord.
Because I just plugged it in. I was just like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I know
the question I asked was like, can you actually use your controller without the battery in it and just plug it in?
Yes, you can. You can on the on the Xbox One. You can.
I just tested out every controller I have. My day one Xbox One X that works, and all the way up through my new Series X Elite 2. I'm sorry, Elite 2 works. All of them work. So you don't need a battery for any of them.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That plug, the plug that comes, that official Xbox plug, works on all Xbox One controllers and the Elite, but it will not work on the Series X. The cord, but the battery will fit, but the plug will not. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, because
that was my fault.
The plug is
that's what I mean. I'm sorry,
talk
guys.
about batteries anymore.
All right, well, just real quick, can I shout out Infernal Lock hitting up that super chat, brother? Thank you for the love and the support. And basically he just says, "Sup, guys?" And yo, he did it again one more time. Oh my goodness, thank you, brother. He says, Mage, can anybody or Mega, can anybody join Fight Night? So Mega, can anybody
Yes.
jump in?
Yeah. We do it every Sunday night at around 10 o'clock Central Time. And then we just, anybody who's down, if you got the games, come and join us. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
anybody's welcome.
I work Sunday, but then I got Monday and Tuesday off, and Sunday I get off at 7, so that means I could be around for
You
Fight
could
Night.
be.
I could
You
be
could be.
around, bro.
You could be.
He could be, but he won't.
Oh,
Right.
He could be
wow.
beating around the bush.
Right.
On,
No.
2K21. Yeah. there you
Ooh,
go.
2K21 golf, baby. It's all about that golf lifestyle. But guys, we got
Cyberpunk is done. So I mean, I'm free for golf.
Oh, you're coming back? You're coming back, brother?
And Destiny. I'm free for both.
Oh, dude, my heart is singing right now from what you're saying, K Mega. You know that, right? Like it's incredible. Hold on, I heard real quick. Shout out to Dirk Griggity in the chat. What is up, brother? Have not seen you here in a while. It is good to see you, bro. We got to get you on as a guest again, man. Dude, I had a blast the last time you were in here. He says, "What's up, Xbot and the panel? What is up to you, brother? Good to see you." But guys, we got to switch it up, and this is going to be interesting, man. This is a hot topic right now. The PlayStation brand is in decisive decline in Japan. Research firm claims. Now, when it came out, the launch of the PlayStation 5 in Japan, I believe they sold 240,000 units within a few weeks. And if you compare that to any other PlayStation that came out in Japan, it is decisively lower than any of them. The number is lower. And when I looked at this at first, I was like, oh man, like nobody's, not as many people are buying them. But then I thought about it. I'm like, hold on. All the consoles are being sold out worldwide, wherever they're going. So, and I started reading the article, and it got to the point where they were saying that Sony is kind of being dismissive of their homeland of Japan and not bringing them the same amount of units and focusing more on the United States, which Japanese consumers will take that as an insult. They won't go on social media and start yelling about it and saying how bad Sony is. What they'll do is they'll quietly take their paper and move elsewhere. And by paper, yes, I mean money, okay? They will gladly just take their money and move elsewhere. K-Mega, you did end off on the last topic. How about you start with this one, brother? Did you see what was going on here? And what do you think about Sony possibly being a little dismissive of their homeland, Japan?
Well, we've talked about this for a while. This isn't new news. This is old news. So once Sony made the move to move their headquarters into Santa Monica, that was the telling tale right there that they were feeling like.
I said that in the article too, brother.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. I mean, that was something that we talked about here on Next. We talked about this on GRG. So it was one of the things where it was like, what is it that, how will this play out in time? And of course, you had plenty of people that were, the naysayers. Oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be. Nintendo has been dominating Japan for a long time. Nintendo has had the pulse of Japan when it came to gaming for a minute. Sony has been solid, but again, they want that US market. That's where Xbox is strong. And since Europe is pretty much Sony, just is everything Sony, that if they get those two global markets, then they're pretty much set. There's nothing, they don't have to worry about anything, even if their movie division is failing or whatever. So it's a smart strategy. Is it disrespectful to, especially
Yes.
since Sony is a Japanese company? Yeah, it is. But business is business. Money is money. And
Well, they're saying
Japanese
that they're
Japanese
saying that
gamers have been
they're saying that
away from
Sony is losing Japanese principles ever since they moved their PlayStation moved their headquarters over here into the United States, and that's
Yeah.
something that the Japanese community doesn't necessarily like and considers it disrespectful.
Yeah, but no, it is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's disrespectful. It is, because they're the ones, the Japanese market out there gave Sony life.
Yes.
And, and then when you look at it and then it just took off in the United States, it's been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then once it got to that point to where they hit, the PS4 did what it did, that's when I feel that the investors made that point. The CEOs and whoever just was like, look, this is where our money is. This is where our toast is buttered. So this is where we're going to go. We're going to go after and conquer the U.S. market. And you look at it, the Japanese market pretty much is not in the console realm anymore. It's in the mobile gaming, it's in all the arcades, and it's all different other things than the console space. So it's like, that's why Nintendo has been thriving, and that's one reason probably why Nintendo made the Switch in the first place, because they wanted to keep their dominance in Japan, keep close to their roots. And then on top of that, because if you go back, this is like when we first kind of started doing the YouTube thing, is if you remember back when Sony went through all of that turmoil and everything, and the PlayStation was a really big deal at that time, and they had to let go of people, and people were wondering if Sony was going to cave in because they had a lot of financial woes. And remember, that's
when they got into real estate and insurance, right?
Yeah, and they lost the cameras, those the laptops and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything it was a really bad look for Sony at that point. So if you look at that, and then remember when they were saying Magnavox and Hitachi and all that was listed higher in their Japanese stocks than Sony was. So I think maybe Sony kind of looked at it as hey man, the Japanese government won't show us love unless, didn't show us love when we were down. The U.S. market kept us afloat, and you know what? We're just going to go for what we know. And maybe the Japanese market looking back and saying, oh, y'all trying to disrespect us because y'all didn't live up to y'all's end of the bargain. I don't know. It's a mixed bag, but I mean, Sony will be fine, of course, but it's more of the thing of, I think a lot of things, even with tech. I mean, PK and 108 Dragons and Six Layer was bringing this up about how, Korea is now kind of like the forefront when it comes to internet and technology now, not so much Japan. So it's a lot of things is moving and shaking, and I think maybe Sony seen the writing on the wall of what they could do and where they're strong at, and so they just decided to just kind of move away. So how this plays out in Japan, I mean, Japan is not the biggest country in the world. I think that they would rather have U.S. money than just being number one in Japan. I think they would rather be number one in the United States and Europe.
Damn, brother. Yo, shout out to Sir X-Man one more time hitting up that super chat. Thank you so much, brother. He says K-Mega said he is ready for that Need for Speed life. Is that true, K-Mega? Hot Pursuit?
I'm with it. I said, there has been talks to me about, streaming some racers and stuff, and I'm with it.
The game is super addictive, bro. Super addictive. I
know. I played a little bit of it. But when Cyberpunk came, I was lost. So I was gone.
Real quick, K-Mega, before I move to another panel member, because we always talked about Sony and PlayStation being protected by the Japanese government and kind of like their laws in terms of acquiring, Japanese companies or divisions of Japanese companies or whatnot. Do you think that what they're doing here in terms of how the Japanese community is kind of feeling disrespected by them, and you see PlayStation headquarters moving over to the United States, do you think there's any way they can lose kind of like that government protection, or do they even have it now that you know of or that you think of, man?
I know people bring that up quite a bit. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo back in 2000, and they tried to acquire Sony during, I believe, the 360 era. So I mean, obviously, I mean, there's some red tape there. There's some things that some companies have to do to do that. But I think now the way that the world market is and money just ever flowing, I think it's one of those things. Hey, if that person have enough money, they can make they can get the ball rolling. I think it's just all about the price.
Money talks,
Right.
brother. Money talks.
Money talks. Money
Nice.
talks.
Nice. Yo, and on that note, I really want to go to Predator, but I think I got to give Clowns his due real quick. He has been quiet for so long. Yo, Predator, I'm chomping on the bit to get to what you think about this, but I definitely want to get to my brother Clowns. So, Clowns, you hear this, man, and supposedly there's an amount of disrespect here to the point where Sony, sending out units to Japan, the lowest numbers that they have ever done for a launch of a PlayStation. What are your thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sony's thinking, to be honest with you. You'd figure that they would honor, where they come from and get those people consoles. But you also said that they felt disrespected that Sony moved their headquarters, if I heard that correctly?
Yes.
Xbox? So I don't know, man. It's just like baffling to me because I've always seen Japanese companies honor Japan first. It's almost like a cultural pride thing with some of them, and I just don't understand why they would kind of like skip out on that. And then King Mega alluded to the fact that they're trying to go more globally, get more users in different areas, and I mean that's a strong possibility. Maybe they just want to compete where the the Xbox markets first, and then go back to Japan. I'm baffled, to be honest with you. This makes no sense to me. What Sony did, and they got to have some type of business reasoning for doing it. Maybe because they think later on they could just shove PS5s there and people are going to buy them anyway.
Dude,
and
great point. I think part of their reasoning is they think that whatever units they're going to put in Japan are going to sell anyway. I think that's a great point. I do think they think that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, right? Because why leave out your home base, your home country, or where you started? It's a little bit baffling, but that has to be it. It has to be the fact that they think that no matter what they do, people are going to come back to them in Japan and stay loyal at the end of the day.
All right, I got you. I heard a little click at the end of that, so I don't know if that was your noise canceling or if you were dropped or whatnot. But
I think that was Fred saying,
Yeah, well, I heard that too. Very, very interesting. Yo, real quick, I want to shout out Sir X-Man one more time with the super chat. He says Sony started off with small consoles and they just kept getting bigger and bigger. Microsoft did the opposite. Japan likes smaller consoles. Truth. Now, Sir X-Man, thank you for that. I think you should have put hashtag crispy truth when it came to the end of that super chat, but it was great nonetheless. And shout out to Infernal Lock. He says, can y'all talk about people selling their PS5 because Stalker 2 is only on Xbox Series X and PC? I think that was one person. One person said that, right?
I think it was a couple of people, but I don't think it's enough to make it as a,
That's not a topic.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to you, brother, for that super chat, man. If it snowballs even more, we will definitely make it a hot topic here on next podcast. But for now, we got to go to Pred. And Pred, this reeks of Predator knowledge right here when it comes to business, finance, and gaming. It's like the trifecta for Predator. So what's your opinion on this whole thing with Sony, PlayStation, and Japan, bro?
Well, let's talk about the move first, right? For them moving to the United States. Why did they make that move? Anybody know why?
Bigger market. They were focused more on the Western
Hollywood?
market.
Where are their studios at? What are their biggest
Hollywood?
studios?
Oh, California.
California, yeah.
Yeah. So Insomniac is where? Naughty Dog is where?
Santa
California.
Monica.
Yeah, Santa Monica Studios, Sucker Punch. Where? Like all their studios are in the United States.
Oh, damn.
Why not
I
be
didn't
closer?
even think about that.
Why not even be closer? That's why I do business. Why not even think
That's why I
about
do
that?
this shit right here.
Why not move closer to where your money is, right? So like it's a better business deal for them. They have a little bit more of a I guess even like you think about what they're doing with cloud, they're using Microsoft, which is where like it's in the West Coast. So like so why not be closer to where your money is? Like that's just my mind. That's why I would
Mhm.
go with this whole process, and then why they moved to California in the first place, because what Japanese studios are actually in Japan that they own? And I couldn't tell you the answer to that
Well,
question.
Yeah, because they just lost Ben Studios.
And then
so,
Sony Interactive Entertainment is
They moved that to California,
mhm.
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
and they lost a lot of Japanese developers from there anyway, man.
right, and then there's been some fallout between From Software about Bloodborne. So from the rumors that's passed on about that a couple of months ago.
So I mean,
So
like to me, from the business aspect of it, I'm thinking, why not be closer to where everybody else is? It's making us fucking money. I want to be on the West Coast where everybody else is at. So there you go. That's why they probably moved to California. So the console part of it, which is completely different, selling consoles in Japan, that Japan has always been a Nintendo market. It's always been that.
They sold a
It's
ton of PlayStations there. Yo, Predator,
yeah,
put
they
it
did.
put
They
it
did.
in
They
proper
did.
perspective real quick. If they keep continuing to supply what they've been supplying for the launch, they will sell less than half of what they sold with the PS4 in Japan.
Yeah, but think about this year, or this past year, I guess you want to look at it that way. But it's been hard to get product out in any place right now. So, and I don't, I'm not gonna say it was a pandemic thing, but if they're going to sell consoles, who's going to spend the most money on those consoles with everything going on? The
America.
Americans, they're gonna spend that fucking thing. That stimulus check, that shit's spent. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you shift basically your product instead of sending all those consoles, because they're not even manufactured in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong on that, but quote me on that. Somebody.
China.
China. Yeah.
So you shift that product to where it's gonna sell. Like Americans are gonna buy fucking consoles. Like, the Japanese market would have bought them too, but like, why send the same amount of consoles to an island when you can send it to a whole fucking continent, damn near, the whole country of America that they know they're gonna sell out. So you take, let's say you have 100,000 units, you take 85,000 and you send it to the US because they're gonna sell out, and you take those last 15,000 and you send them to Japan, and like, that's obviously something worldwide. I'm just throwing out numbers out there, but like why send all those units to that small country when you can sell them to all of America, and they're gonna sell out here, and you're gonna make that extra money on, because what off the top of my head, I haven't looked at the yen, but like, what's the exchange rate? I'm pretty sure the yen is higher. So they're gonna
I
make
think
more
so,
money.
yeah.
They're gonna make more money here in the States selling it here than they would in Japan. So like, that's the business aspect of it. So that's how I think about things. But I don't think that they're just trying to shaft Japan, But if you think about it, as you see where it's kind of going, like, oh, they moved the company, and that, if that's going to be the reason why the Japanese people don't buy the console because they shifted their company to Japan, that's on you. That's your own personal values.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, Pred. Like, there's a cultural kind of like ripple effect that could happen here when it comes to PlayStation and Japan. Like, you don't think they're trying to take into account that as well? Because I was it Clowns basically stated that I think it was Clowns. Japan gave them life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. That's just people being fickle. Like, if somebody took, like, okay, Whataburger, that's here in Texas, they moved that shit to Ohio. Am I still going to Whataburger? Yes. It doesn't bother me. So like, I don't care what the company is, as long as I still can get it here, I'm straight. like where the headquarters are doesn't fucking bother me. So like if they're gonna be that fucking petty, that's on them. Like I mean, but the console's gonna sell. It doesn't matter where it's at. The people who love the PlayStation, they take it to that heart where it bothers them so much that they moved headquarters to the United States of America, but they can still get the console, and that bothers them. That's a them problem.
Oh damn.
That's a them problem.
Oh damn.
I mean,
he said they
fucking
caught in
suck
their
it up.
feels right there, man.
Yeah, they basically in their fucking feelings, and like get over it, dude. Like like I mean, you can still buy the motherfucker there. So what's the difference?
I think again, there's something about respect and honor, and again, it's a different culture than ours, man. You know.
I know, I get that, but I mean, like it's just I look at something like that from the business perspective. That's petty. Like, why would they stay there? What?
Well,
what incentive
Nintendo sells gangbusters and is one of the most popular, gaming companies out there.
And maybe that's why Sony left. They can't compete. Just like Microsoft said, "Fuck you guys, we ain't doing shit here." For like the whole One X, what series? Fucking the Xbox 360 and the fucking One X era. They're like, we're not selling it here. We're not gonna make no money. So why sell it? So it's like, it's fine. I mean, they'll be all right. Like,
they'll be all right. Yeah.
They want it bad enough, they'll wait for it and they'll buy it when it comes out. They can complain now, but like I guarantee you, if they drop about 10,000 motherfuckers over there, they'll buy it. It'll be sold out.
Damn.
So, I mean, it's what it is. It ain't about the size of the console. It ain't about the color. It's just people just like they're caught in their feelings, whatever.
That
They'll
PS5 is huge, though, by the way.
It's
Saying it's huge.
enormous.
Yeah. Yo, the don't give two fucks predator right there, people. Right there. He's like, yo, you can buy it anyway, yo. So what the hell? Let's go to Dark on this one. Like, I'm interested to see if he's got any energy for this topic. So, what do you think about Sony possibly disrespecting Japan here, bro? Like, what's going on? They're over on the West Coast. They're living next door to you, Angry Otter. What's up, man?
Pred's absolutely right. It's why they moved over from Japan to the America is because of money. You guys got to remember the last two consoles that they've made were made here in America. You got to remember also, Japan is more of a mobile market. Sony tried that. They did well in Japan, but here in the United States, they failed with that. They even failed with Japan too. It didn't work out so well. They stopped making games for it, things like that, for the Vita and for the PSP. So, with, Japan
PSP
being
nice too, man.
more of a mobile market, and Nintendo's rocking it over there. I mean, of course they're gonna rock it over there because guess what? They're a mobile brand now.
They sell a handheld. Come on.
Yeah, it's a console, but it's a handheld.
It's a
hybrid.
Shut up.
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid.
It is not a hybrid. If that's the case, an iPad is a hybrid. But keep going. Go ahead.
Well, you can't hook up a iPad to a TV unless you have like a certain type of adapter or whatever.
Well, that's Apple
you can't
right there.
do that.
That's Apple for you right there, man. But go ahead.
Yeah. You have to, with the Nintendo, you have everything that you need if you want to put it on a dock and put it to your TV. You have that. With the Switch, you can just take it off the dock and play it handheld. So that's their market over there in Japan. You guys also got to remember, like, the internet isn't that great over there in Japan either. Like I mean, their technology's good. The technology's good, but like you're seeing is that, places like Samsung and other companies are doing better, but they're in like Korea, or they're in from a different part of, or they're from I think there's one in Thailand and things like that. Japan's kind of, I mean, it's not like they're moving away from technology. They're just kind of, I don't know if they're just stuck or something. I don't know
They're
what's
not
going on
front
over there.
runners anymore, is what you're trying to
Right,
say.
they're just not front runners anymore. They're just, I think they've kind of, and I think PlayStation just wanted to. They saw where their money was being made, and they were making a lot of money here in the United States, off of us. Because I mean, you look at even Pred's absolutely right about the studios here. I mean, look at the studios. We have pretty much every single Sony studio is here on the West Coast. It's literally pretty much almost every single one. I mean, I think there might be a few
Dark, come
that
move to
might
the
be,
East Coast, Dark. Come over here
And
to the East Coast.
Sony Pictures.
well, Sony Pictures is that's a whole different story. There's a lot with Sony Pictures that I won't get into right now because it's not gaming.
I appreciate that, bro.
But there's it's really, I think the market is changing for, consoles, especially because like here in the United States, we love our consoles. We love having consoles. We love having new technology. We love, you know, we love just bickering back and forth with each other about bullshit. And I think Sony knows that, so they know that they're gonna be able to get us to just, to buy this shit. Um, and kudos to them. I mean, they're making bank over there, and it's kind of. I mean, they're making bank here, and they're ranking in the funds, and I think, at the end of the day, it's really, it's not. I wouldn't say it's sad that they're moving away from Japan. I just think that they're moving away to the terms of like they want to make more. Um, they want to have better partnerships with America than they do with their own country, because for some reason they just don't have, I think it really comes down to the handheld market, because they had Vita and PSP, man, and those consoles did not do well here or over there, really. I mean, they did okay, they did, fine, whatever, but they weren't like gangbuster like the Switches or the 3DS is over there in Japan, especially like, and Nintendo is king over there. And Sony is king more towards, here in the European area. They're kind of like, they're gaining more momentum.
I don't know.
in their-
Nintendo Switch at one point in time, man, in terms of just raw sales when it comes to consoles, like when the Switch came out, it was outpacing everything, man. Worldwide.
Well, yeah, of course,
bro.
because it's Nintendo though, man. I mean, like you slap the name Nintendo on
I'm tired
anything,
of hearing it's
and it
Nintendo,
just
bro.
sells. It just sells, dude. Like that's the thing. It's like you could say to me tomorrow that Nintendo's coming out with another console. And everybody would be like, "Oh shit, they're coming out with another console?" Even if you hate the games that come for that for their consoles, you still are like intrigued, because you're like, oh, Nintendo's coming out with a new console. Maybe they'll make a good one, or maybe they'll make something that I like, or, it's just, and I think a lot of it has to do with nostalgia too. Like people grew up playing. A lot of gamers grew up playing on the Nintendo or PlayStation. So, it's the nostalgia factor, I think, as well.
All right, I got you, bro. I got you, man. Yo, Dark had a lot to say. Everybody in the chat, digest everything and then attack this man. Just straight up attack this man. But
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know, because it's funny to see in the chat when everybody goes against you,
just.
bro.
You instigate shit.
I'm trying to see some drama right now, brother.
Yeah.
But I
Try to start some shit, man.
I possibly saved the best for last. Yo, Crispy, this is a very interesting topic for you, man. So I want to know what you think about this. Is this disrespectful to Japan? Are there going to be some ripple effects What are your thoughts on the decisive decline of Japan of PlayStation in Japan, bro?
Well, I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Sony is a hardware-based company. Microsoft is a software-based company.
Can we really keep saying that though with all of the hardware that's coming out from
You can't.
Microsoft?
Not anymore.
You can't really say that anymore.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Here's the problem that everybody ignores. Okay, number one, the only reason why they sold that many consoles is because of COVID and everybody's sitting at home, and that's the way you got to look at that. Number two, the greatest games that some of that genre, the Japanese market has ever seen are games that are extremely cartoony, not realistic like Sony's been making for a while. So those games continue to be played constantly. Comes from Sega, comes from Sony themselves, comes from Nintendo. Nintendo is gangbusters over there. Gangbusters. They are trashing everybody over there. You know why? Because they give you an option. They say, hey, you could play mobile or you could play at home on your TV. And you know what? I'm sure the Japanese market loves that because they have options. Well, guess what? A lot of people are ignoring. We have no clue how many subscriptions have been sold in the Japanese market for Xbox at this point, for xCloud and Xbox Live, and you want to say it? Game Pass.
Dun dun dun. Sorry,
You have Yakuza in there. You have Phantasy Star. You have all of these games that these people love that they can play on their mobile phone. Probably we don't even know what they have as far as far as ahead as we do, because clearly Xbox has been focusing on that market and everybody's ignoring it. And, PlayStation's sitting here with this behemoth of a console and saying, come play us. Problem is, all your games are developed, and they're developed like Western RPGs. Are they completely Western RPGs? No, they are not. But they are damn close at this point. You are role-playing, you are a certain character, and you go through a story. And that's the same thing I went through. RPGs. They're not all Western RPGs. Do they care if we are playing Western RPGs and they are not? The whole point I try to make is that they focused their launch of that console, the PS5, on the Western market because it has caught fire for them. And why not do it? There's no reason to go to the Eastern market at this point in time because they have clout. They've been born there. They might be developing in a country that they don't like. Like that's the problem. Like we don't have those values. Like we just want the games. We want everything else. They look at it and say, well, you're building everything in China, and Japan and China aren't getting along right now. That's probably the way they look at it.
But China's right next door, so shipping it should be pretty easy, right?
Shipping it should be pretty easy until you have all the issues going on in between both countries. Physically, like literally look at it. Like they don't. You're not supposed to get that island. You're not supposed to do this. And both of them are looking at each other like, no, this isn't supposed to happen. Oh, let's call in the U.S. military to come in here for Japan.
Oh, damn.
And then you got China sitting here like we're gonna build islands next to that island, like they're, dude,
you're off on some other kind of fucking shit.
Well,
Yeah,
no, you have to
understand.
That had nothing to do with the fucking PlayStation.
All matters.
I get what Crispy is saying. Crispy is right that China and Japan, they cannot stand each other. It goes way longer than just a couple.
What does that have to do with the fucking? What does that have to do with the PlayStation?
Yeah, but I want to keep listening to see what it. Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
almost like Sony has become a traitor
okay.
to the Japanese people. And that's the point. Like, yes, we are in COVID. You have to buy a console for the most part. You're not traveling around everywhere. But once that ends, it becomes a different aspect. And people are enjoying. They play on their phones more than anybody else in the world. They do. And if you could play a AAA caliber game like a Yakuza 0 over, all these games that, can be on a console and everything else, and you're sitting on the train and they like that stuff. We don't. That's why Sony moved over here, because they said, oh, we're making these great games. Everybody's clamoring for them. Why not keep pushing that and keep pushing our console itself? Well, Xbox sitting here like, hey, we got this xCloud. Nobody's thinking about it over here, but we're making money over here. Like, nobody's thinking about that. It's just, it baffles my mind. Like, we are not the same people. The 6 people that are talking right now are not the same people that could be talking over there and saying, like, xCloud could be a thing. You know what I mean? And that's where, like, the disconnect is, like, with the world. We ignore everybody else's thoughts, but what about ours? It's all we say. And what about theirs is never what we say. And I feel like they're kind of saying something like, hey, like, you're not making games that we want to play over there. And that's the way I feel.
That is very interesting. Yo, shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat. He said, don't forget Sony manufactures in China, not Japan. And brother, I believe, Predator said that. I believe Dark said that as well. Guys, I brought in a special person to talk about this topic with us. He is the resident cool Sony guy, is what I'm going to say. Even though he claims more PC Master Race now, which is awkward. Yo, Cali Rex, what is up, bro?
Hello, people. What's up, Xbot? And thank you for giving me that title. Sorry, Dark, my bro. But
it's all right, man.
We all know it's just facts.
Dark straight neutral. He's in the land of neutrality, man. What are you talking about?
That is true. I don't really give a fuck.
Cali Rex is the best PlayStation guy around.
I just want to get my thoughts on this. Okay, so I've been hearing you guys say like that Sony's practically given up on Japan, and of course that the people have given up on them. I don't agree with that, because a lot of the signs from the other parts of Sony have pointed to Sony actually leaning towards Japan more, like with their anime acquisitions. They're focusing more on anime games now with their, of course, anime shows and their streaming services.
I got an argument for that anime part, by the way. If you want to hear it, just real quick, it's just a couple things, right? Two words, anime. Well, actually 3 words. Anime is worldwide now, bro.
Yeah, that's but the thing is that they're
they
have the biggest distribution out here in the West compared to over there. And not only that, but they also have the biggest, I believe, TV service. I'm not too sure what it was. I forgot what it's called, but they are big in putting out anime out there on TV in Japan.
They got Crunchyroll, right?
Yeah, but that's a Western company.
So, Bibby.
You're talking about
Billy's Chinese
on the West, and they have a Western company too. So
Billy's a Chinese company, and they're invested in it. So that's where they put anime out there in China. But they are focusing more on anime games too to go out with their shows. So they haven't completely given up on Japan. And I also want to tackle this topic that I've seen a lot of other YouTubers from other communities talk about, which is, of course, Sony's Japan Studios losing some talent. Now, I would usually agree if there was something up, but the thing is, though, in April, I believe it was announced that Sony Japan did expand their studio a bit more, adding more people to their development teams. I think it was like an external development team that they said that they added. I'm not too sure.
Well,
I can send you the
I got
article.
you, but when
Well,
you
they
lose the
restructured-
creator of
they
Silent Hill and Gravity
restructured.
Rush,
But
I mean,
They
Sean
restructured their entire like ecosystem as
right,
like
Sean Layton, before he left, he said that that was going to be their focus. If that they weren't going to go and really purchase a lot of studios, they were going to add more people to their studios that they have. Yeah, because that's kind of like when Xbox started doing the whole, acquiring and stuff, and then so they asked Sony, and Sean Layton was, before this was in what 2019, I think it was in 2019, right before the VGAs, and that was that article that came out that he said that he was going to be that they were going to focus on putting more, more money into those studios that they have, which means that's the reason why they probably. Adding more people to those studios, but they weren't going to be pumping out all different types of newer games that people were accustomed to. So,
and I also like to point out that we've seen Sony getting buddy with Square Enix, so it's not like they've completely given up on Japan. It's just that they're on the console side of things. Japan is more heavily towards mobile gaming now, and that's been the case for a while. Like the Vita was their biggest success out there in Japan, but it wasn't a big success out here in the West, of course. So it's practically a matter of like Japan like shifting away from consoles now, and that's partly why PlayStation hasn't really had the grasp it had during like the PS1 and PS2 generation. But,
so you're basically confirming what I just said, Callie. By the way,
but they haven't given up though, because they're still trying to get
they're
still trying to get developers out there from Japan.
That's where that's their square. That's their square. I mean, let's be honest for a second. That's where they reside. That's their headquarters. That's
where Sony
that's where
headquarters
they feel.
is. But PlayStation is in the west coast of the United States right now,
And
bro.
that's the weird thing, and that's where I go and say, they have been making somewhat more, relevant to us Americans, games compared to what they've done before, and it's a little strange.
Now, the
that,
main PlayStation headquarters is in California, but let's not forget that Sony Corp as a whole is still in Japan.
That's what, I stay.
And they call it
they have restructured their entire environment, and technically the PlayStation aspect of it is its own entity because it's actually absorbed parts of actually Sony itself, because they have separated everything from like 10 things to like 5, and it's a little strange that they did that so late in the game, as I like to say. But everybody looks at Microsoft and says Microsoft is Microsoft. They do what they want, and then all of a sudden now we're starting to say like, okay, now there's the Xbox division, there's a Surface division, there's a Windows division. You know what I mean? But we never said that before. It was always just Microsoft. That's who they are. You know what I mean? So actually, both companies are doing totally different things, which is kind of strange, because one is a multi-trillion-dollar company. It almost feels like at this point, and the other one's billions of dollar company, and it's just they're trying to restructure to fit the narrative that they feel, and for them to come and move over to the West Coast where their studios are. Why are there studios there to begin with?
They also still have Polyphony Digital is also based in Japan, and they also have studios out there in the UK, like Media Molecule. So it's not like the US is their main focus.
Their major AAA studios are all stationed in the same area they moved, and that's my point. They are almost saying, "Hey, Western gamers, we're here, we're ready to go," and it's they're giving games that people enjoy, but they're just for some of us, like myself, they are too single player. I want to see some multiplayer from them, and that's always the point I try to make.
And that's probably the reason why they did the deal with Microsoft, so they can make sure that their online, when they start doing their online games, there'll be a lot better. Then their codes will be a lot better.
Yeah, Callie, when it comes down to it, I don't think I stated that like Japan that PlayStation is giving up on Japan. Real quick, since we brought you in to talk about this, what do you think about kind of like the signs of disrespect in terms
I
of
don't
Sony to
see
Japan?
it. I don't.
This
see it. I
is
think
coming from Japanese like journalists as well, and
it's speculation though. The thing is, I've seen signs that point otherwise, that they still respect their Japanese
dude, they gave
culture.
them the least amount of units like that they've ever done for a launch of a PlayStation, and like when it comes down to it, you look at their marketing. There's a lot.
To be fair,
more
they did have the
geared-
budget a lot. They did have to budget those consoles for more countries this time around.
Oh, good
So
point.
it's not-
Good point.
And didn't Japan also get like they catered more to Europe and America than they did Japan this time around?
Yep.
The thing is, though, that those countries have always been their biggest markets. Japan, it has been decent for them. They have to focus on the bigger markets to sell more. That's just.
I think
I
that's
know,
what
I
Cred
get
was
that.
talking
I mean, I
about,
get the
yeah.
business aspect of it, but I mean, when you, I don't know, man. Like I said, I think personally that it's. Oh shit! I killed a damn cop. Damn it! I didn't mean to do that. Damn it.
Oh,
Oh, great! Now the FBI's coming at your door.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Jeez,
I'm over here with.
It sounds like a bad night. Oh damn! I killed the damn cop. Like
Yeah, damn. Now the cops are coming after me. Anyway, but no, I just, culturally, I mean, we can't. When we look at things like that, it is personable with their culture. I mean, they do take things personal. We can't westernize our thoughts on it because I mean, when we look at it, from a capitalistic process, yeah, it's money. Japan shouldn't even be worried about it. They shouldn't even be thinking about it that way. But it's a different thing in different countries, and I do think that they're taking this a little personal. I mean, and then on top of that, remember that there was a lot of people. There was a mad exodus when Sean Layton left, Andrew House left, and there was a lot of people that didn't like the fact that Jim Ryan was taking over because there was rumblings about like you're westernizing, what Sony is, and there was even gamers that were having problems with that. So I don't.
Because they knew I think they had seen it. They were planning.
They seen the writing on the wall. That's right. That what Sony was doing.
Operations to the west.
Yeah, I think Yoshida was just kind of like, well, I'll take, they could drop me down. I like working with indie games anyway, so yeah, that's cool.
Yoshida's like, my pension's gonna be ridiculous when I retire anyway. I don't
right,
care.
yeah. I got a couple of more years left. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of them things where I think it's one of those things where when you make big changes like that, especially like as quickly as it happened, it's the same thing that I said about with Microsoft. When all those changes started happening, it was going to take a while for Microsoft to get things in order. Just because Sony is going to sell consoles and that you got fanboys and stands that want to, oh, they sold this, they're fine. If things are not right internally, that shit can go left regardless, because somebody can make one bad decision on what they think that they need to do with the company, and all that will go out the window.
Just ask Xbox that, bro.
Yeah, just ask Xbox that. So because some bad decisions. So I don't know. It's something to look at. I don't know if it's not nothing tragic right now at this point, but I mean,
Well,
there was a reason why they did go to United States.
Like Kelly said, he said that Sony of Japan is still the head honcho. They're the ones that are calling the shots. So like, Sony of America has to get approval from Sony of Japan. So
right, yeah,
it's not like it's gonna go down the shitter.
Yeah,
like you're making it
Japan, they're working.
You're making it seem like they're gonna go down the shitter if Sony of America takes over, but they're not going to take over because Sony Japan is there.
Well, there's
brand
I didn't say that. Where
loyalty.
did you get that from? I didn't say that at all.
There's brand loyalty if you're gonna bring that up, because like at some point, I mean, are you gonna go for
I didn't say anything was going to the shitter. I just said things could go bad because of decision making.
Dark.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking to Dark about I didn't, I'm not said Sony would be fine. I just said that anything could happen in a sense. There's a reason why all these people left, because they seen the writing on the wall of where they were going. And obviously that made some people, upset. And like I said, there were gamers that even said the same thing, that were like, what's going on here? Why is it, what are they going to be doing with the games? And then they start talking about they want to be focused on multiplayer and all this stuff. I mean, all you got to do is just go back and read through all the stuff that was in 2019 for what they were saying then.
Yeah.
So,
I think though that they've said stuff before, like with games going to PC, or like with keeping them exclusive, and we've seen Horizon Zero Dawn go to PC or multiplats. It's Sony that calls those shots because they want that money.
And that shadiness is the problem that they have right now. I'm sorry, like that's the one thing. Like, it's like, do I want to buy in? No, I don't, because I feel like
shady though. I don't get how you think that's shady. How do you think that's shady?
Well, you're going into the next generation. You go and say we're all about generations, and that's from the CEO of
Sony of America. Sony is PlayStation of America.
So
not
he
not
still
the
has
Sony
to
of Japan.
He still has
he's
to
gonna
sit.
say shit.
He
Exactly,
still
that's
has
my
to
point.
sit at the table with the other people. And Jim Ryan probably speaks Japanese at this point because he's trying to explain himself to these guys. And they're sitting there like, well, what's going on in America?
Afford interpreters.
It's a big money market.
Beforehand.
Let me tell y'all how this works. Okay.
Oh,
so
come on in, Fred. Yeah.
Japan still owns
Business.
everything. They're still running everything over there, right? They probably have a nice, decent sized office in Japan, probably the same one they were working out before. But the major operations, as far as the gaming part of it, has been moved over to the United States. And Sony of America is a subsidiary of Sony of Japan. So basically, the U.S. part of it still falls by everybody's the same U.S. rules that every other U.S. company falls under, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they're still underneath the U.S. company. I'm saying is still underneath Sony of Japan. But some of the major decisions, especially with again, like I said before, the reason why they moved out to the West Coast was because their gaming division is entirely damn near on the West Coast. And even Callie said some other stuff earlier. He's like, X, Y, and Z is on the West Coast too. Where's Crunchyroll? Where are they located at?
They're in San Francisco.
There you go. I mean, like that they're where they need to be because all their businesses, the ones that they're making them money as far as gaming and media, on the West Coast. Where's Hollywood?
West
Isn't
Coast.
Sony
Japan.
a movie company? I mean, like that's why they moved out there. Like,
For now, they're a movie company.
yeah, but okay. Marvel does still pretty well, like Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. Like, but they still make movies, they still make TV shows and shit like that. They still have that aspect of it. So like, they're where they need to be. It just imagine this, because I've worked with companies that have worked overseas. It's a pain in the ass to have to wait on Japan, or actually for Japan to wait on us to wake up in the morning on the East Coast. By the time our stock market closes at 4, it's like dark o'clock, damn near like 10 p.m. in Japan. Like, it's a pain in the ass. But if they can get everything done, have their meetings done, because everybody's on the fucking West Coast already, they're all in one centralized fucking time zone, it makes more sense to have them on the West Coast. So that's why Sony decided to move certain operations into the West Coast, because that's where their money is at. That's where their people are at. That's where their businesses are at. And it makes more sense for them to be there than be in Japan. So that's why they're there. They're not leaving Japan behind. It just makes more sense for them to be on the West Coast, because that's where all their product is.
And again,
their product.
And Pred, I'm not saying like that's not the reason why and stuff like that. What is interesting to me is kind of like the Japanese culture, and kind of like, what these journalists are saying, and how it's kind of like the first signs of disrespect. And then you hear about the opinion within the Japanese community that moving PlayStation out of Japan and to the West Coast was, another one of those signs of disrespect and stuff like that towards, the nation of Japan, the country that they started in. I think that was the more interesting thing. I can definitely see in terms of money, why make that move. And I think Predator, when you started bringing it up about the studios and stuff, it just made even more sense. But when it comes down to it, that sense of honor, that sense of respect and stuff, I feel like the Sony brand, or at least the PlayStation brand under Sony, which still affects Sony to some degree, they are definitely going to take a hit in their homeland, for moves like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm talking shit to somebody in chat right now.
Yeah, dude, I saw you blowing it up with Mr. Hart over there, man.
I get it. Like, it's a business move. Like, it just makes more sense for them to be here in the States. If a lot of their assets are here for the gaming and maybe the media department of it. Like, you talking about the semiconductors, the cameras, and the TVs and shit, and the laptops they don't make anymore. Like, they want to keep that over there. That's fine. But, like, as far as their gaming division goes, even some of the movie stuff, again, Sony Entertainment moved here. So, and I'm not sure if the movies fall under that or not, as I say that, but
they do.
It just makes more sense for them to be here in the States for those aspects of the company that it does to, for them to stay in Japan. I mean, that time zone, that making those business phone calls, when it's 7 a.m. here, imagine, I don't know what the time zone change is, but I think it's like 8 or 9 p.m. there, maybe later. Like, that sucks. So, like, you know what? Hey, let's make these important phone calls all in the same fucking time zone. It's something that simple will make a company decide to move.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, shout out to Sir X-Man. And I don't know if this is true or not, but yo, shout out to you for the super chat, brother. Definitely appreciate the support. He says, you guys know Game Boy is still king in Japan. Really? Game Boy? Not even like Game Boy Color or Advance? Game Boy?
I'm pretty sure the DS overtook that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yo, shout out to Sir X-Man.
Still playing the DS, man. That's crazy. Yo, I believe it too, to be honest with you, but it's still kind of crazy.
My golfing buddy over there, not only that, good friend as well, and a huge part of the community, man. Shout out to you, brother. But Callie, anything else on this before I'm gonna move on to the whole Square Enix thing real quick and then wind the show down. But you said you wanted to come in for this topic, man. I gave you your spotlight. Anything else?
Yeah, but I'd just like to promote that I will be having a show this Saturday, and I invited Crispy onto it.
Oh, shoot.
Ask him to go from his dungeon to show you his dungeon.
You want to see my
gag balls?
So he said this Saturday. Is there a time for this show, brother?
2 p.m. Pacific time and 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Nice, brother. Well,
it should be fun. Yes, it should.
Well, I gotta say, Callie, it was good to have you on, man. Let people know about your channel, and then I am gonna go ahead and move on to the last topic.
Yeah, no problem. You guys can find me at Calorux, and I make a lot of gaming content, so just be looking forward for more videos to be coming out.
Nice.
But with that, thank you for having me on, man.
Nice, brother. And we got to get you on for a full show very, very soon, brother. Man, I hope you're down. I hope you are down, sir.
Always.
Nice. Shout out to Sir X-Man hitting the super chat one more time, brother. You are spoiling me. You really are. He said, dude, the DS is a Game Boy. Yeah, that is true. I was thinking green pea soup, green screen Game Boy, like the first one I had. And I was just picturing people walking around Japan with the green screen Game Boy, and it was awkward to me. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. But
does Sir X-Men still play on the Atari?
He if it's working, he probably would. To be really honest with you, man.
I almost thought about getting that new Atari for a minute.
The VCS.
Mm-hmm. Thought about it
for a while there. I was playing on the Xbox VCR. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
I also thought about throwing my car off a cliff at one point too, but I decided against it.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't do that.
All right, so check this out, guys. We are talking about Square, Final Fantasy, Xbox, and Game Pass as our last subject. It says, in the article, it says people can look forward to having more Final Fantasy Game Pass editions in 2021, confirmed with Microsoft that more entries in the series will be added to the services library in 2021. To be specific, the quote from the representative said, "We have done so through 2020 and will continue to do so in 2021 and beyond." Now, the funny thing is, shout out to Callie Rex again, who came in for that topic. We are trying to take it to the next level, doing new things here, bringing in people for, specific topics. And Callie's idea, he's like, "Oh, I really wanted to talk about that." But Callie was talking about how Square is getting all cozy with PlayStation, and I can definitely see that in a certain aspect, but and I've seen them as well kind of shaft Xbox, but I don't know. Let's go to Crispy on this one real quick. Yo, Crispy, what do you think about the path that's here before us? More Final Fantasies coming to Game Pass in 2021. We've seen Square interact really weird with Xbox. Sometimes they gave them the shaft, but now all of a sudden they're talking more Final Fantasy on Game Pass. You see Square cozy up to PlayStation. What do you think about what they're saying here? And then what do you think? Does this actually show that Game Pass is a model that supports the developers, man?
Well, I mean, let's be honest for a second. You don't have eyes on something for a long time. Why not throw it into a Game Pass? Which Game Pass is as of right now, without xCloud being finalized and everything, more Western. And why not throw these JRPGs in there? It makes total sense. Some people are going to be enamored with it. Maybe like somebody like me never played it, and you're going to play it again, or whatever it is. And with these new consoles out there, there's no reason to hold that back. Square has kind of been teetering on financial disruption, as I like to call it, like almost like filing for bankruptcy at times. But then all of a sudden pulling themselves out of it. It's a little interesting how they go about their business. It feels like they're like sleeping in everybody's bed, and it's
Yo, for real.
I mean, that's what it feels like.
That's
and
the way it should be.
The only thing, but the only thing is that the powerhouse that is Game Pass may come into play for them and say, well, we're going to do this. Because if I'm not mistaken, Xbox did announce that like every Final Fantasy is going to come to Game Pass at some point.
And rumors of
I'm
Final
pretty
Fantasy
damn
16
sure
coming out this year as well.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, PlayStation only. But they haven't completely confirmed it, at least from their Twitter handle or whatever. They haven't completely confirmed it. So it's a little interesting how they're going about things. I can't hate it because you're trying to survive, and especially with what everything's going on, like you might as well try to survive, and release old games and put them on a platform that may not have played them and may want to give it a try. And if people get hooked, it becomes a totally different algorithm. And it's pretty incredible that, Game Pass continues to get shit on, but also gives not only indie developers, but AAA studios that didn't sell well an opportunity to show what they're capable of.
Huh. Very, very interesting. I like that, Crispy. Short to the point, but with like kind of like every aspect covered from your side. Definitely appreciate that. You know what? I want to hear from K Mega on this. I want to hear from K Mega. K Mega plays all sorts of games, and I know Final Fantasy is definitely on that long list. So, Mega, we've watched Square interact with Sony and Xbox, and we've seen kind of like a difference between interactions. So where are you taking this information about more Final Fantasies going to Game Pass, and does it finally prove to people who are skeptical that Game Pass is something that developers do want to take part in?
I mean, this has been talked about. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to come to Xbox sometime this year. All other Final Fantasies, even Final Fantasy Online, will be coming to Xbox. The only one that's the wild card is Final Fantasy 16 because I think Sony is helped fund that. But we're going with Square Enix. They've been doing this forever. I mean, it's just now that people accept what Square Enix is doing with the whole part-time exclusive thing, deals. I mean, remember when they did that stuff with Rise of the Tomb Raider? That's a Square Enix game. So I mean, that was, and people hated it and thought it was silly. But now, with the Final Fantasy stuff and all that, it's all good. They've been always in bed with everybody. They're a third-party company. They want to make as much money as they possibly can. And if Xbox wasn't willing to pay for some kind of exclusive rights or to have it day and date, and Sony is, then I mean, who are them to judge? I mean, it goes with the same thing with the Avengers with the Spider-Man deal. Sony had to pay for that. So I mean, and I don't see any company turning down money like Crispy said. I mean, in these times, everybody wants a little bit of, the cash, everybody wants some money. So it's like, I just think that, like what you said with Game Pass, I mean, it's just too lucrative for them not to put those games on there. And on top of that, the major point is that all these other Final Fantasy games are on Xbox now. Now, if there still wasn't Final Fantasy VII, or if there wasn't any Kingdom Hearts, any of those type of games, but or Final Fantasy Zodiac or Final Fantasy 15. If any of those games weren't on Xbox, then I would be like, yeah, it doesn't look good for Xbox. But there is every Final Fantasy available except for Final Fantasy 7 right now, and Final Fantasy Online. So those are only two right now that aren't on Xbox, and I'm almost 100,000% certain the Final Fantasy VII remake is coming to Xbox.
Do you think it's going to go straight to Game Pass?
It could be one of those end of the year type deals, because the deal is over in April, and it could be one of those things where Xbox, will have whatever. There won't be an E3 again this coming up year, but it'll be. They'll have those events, and what better way to kick off an event by showing love to Game Pass owners and to the Final Fantasy fan owners that look, this will be on Game Pass day and date at this point in time at the end of the year, kind of around right before Halo Infinite drops. So it's I definitely see it because the game is a year old. Anybody and everybody who wanted that game either bought them a PlayStation to get that game, which there was a lot of people that did buy PlayStations to get Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I bought a Final Fantasy 7 Remake, but I'm going to double dip and I'm going to get it again. So I don't see
Play
the
it
reason.
On that Series X, bro.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I can't wait to see what it's going to look like on the Series X. So to me, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes these exclusive deals, they may look harsh at first. I don't like them, but at least Xbox is planning it in a smart way, especially like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, is that like, look, this is going to be played on the new consoles where you get to see everything with the bells and whistles and HDR and all of that. So that's going to be a good winning strategy for them. It's just like I said, the only game that I can look at right now that I see that's that's on the fence is Final Fantasy 16. But I was hearing reading articles too that was saying that was only a year. I mean, that was a 1 or 2 year exclusive. I know that they have Kina as a 2 year exclusive, but that could be a 1 or 2 year exclusive, or maybe Sony did kind of like the Street Fighter 5 thing to where it's completely just locked down under Sony. But other than that, I mean, I think it's, you can't get mad at Square Enix for wanting the money, and Sony over here is doing what they do. So, but those games will come to Xbox, and Game Pass will benefit from it.
Got you, brother. I got you. Yo, shout out to Sir X-Man one more time. Hitting up that super chat. He said, Square Enix is one of the oldest developers out there. They are going to make their money wherever they go to make their money. They're never going, I guess, away is what he's saying. I got you, brother. And you're right. They have been around for, as we like to say out here, they've been around for a hot minute. A hot minute, brother. Let's go to Dark on this one. Dark, what do you think about more Final Fantasy going into Game Pass, and does this finally let people know that the developers get something out of Game Pass? Because a lot of the skeptics say that what did the developers get for this, man?
I mean, I have all the Final Fantasies.
Yep.
So
you even gifted me Final Fantasy 15. Sir.
I did. But that's the thing. I mean, like it's always good when things come to a different platform. I never got that narrative of like, if it's on one platform, then you can't play it on a different platform. Like, it's just so stupid. I think for a while now, Final Fantasy has been on Xbox for a while. I mean, it's been on there since the 360 era. Actually, I even think it came on the original Xbox. I can't remember though. I think there was one on the original Xbox, but there wasn't. Okay.
No, there wasn't. Just 360.
Well, then 360. So I mean, it's been on there for a while. So I mean, it makes sense for them to come and put more Final Fantasies on Game Pass. I mean, I personally, I mean, I personally use Game Pass primarily only for exclusives or games that I just don't want to buy. And that's the beauty of it, right? Is that you don't have to buy any of those games. You can just play them, and then, once you're done, you're done. And for I think for a lot of people, that's a good thing. And these Final Fantasies coming to Game Pass is good. Hopefully they put 12 on there soon, because that's actually probably my favorite Final Fantasy. I love that game. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 16. I don't, that's the thing. I haven't heard them specifically say that it's exclusive only on PlayStation, but I have heard that it is timed. So, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. But I mean, I don't understand why they would even put it as timed, because I mean, they did well on 15. They did well with, the other one with the 13. They did well with those games on Xbox. So I don't understand why they would, make Final Fantasy 16 time to
Sony,
PlayStation.
If it's the case, Sony brought out that money, and the funny thing to me, and financially, financially, this is the difference between Sony and Microsoft, PlayStation and Xbox. Sony and PlayStation, they buy rights, timed exclusives, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Microsoft buys Bethesda. You see the difference there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference there, but honestly, with that whole thing, I think both sides are shady on that one. When it comes to buying Final Fantasy for timed exclusivity, it's just it's why, like. I mean, I understand, like, you want people to play it on PlayStation, like I get that, but I mean, does it really
Yeah,
harm you
it
to?
it benefited the hell out of Sony for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, yeah.
They had record sales.
That is true. I mean,
Yeah,
you are right about that.
yeah.
But I mean, like
And it
it's like
keeps the
it's like
idea of Final Fantasy and PlayStation together. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Well, then we
yeah,
get into that anti-consumer argument. I mean, come on, you know.
It's just it's all you know. Honestly, I'm just sick and tired of this timed exclusivity shit and companies buying these big ass fucking studios. To be honest, like just why can't there just be some independence there? Like just let them. You know, like I understand that like Bethesda's probably gonna have more independence
Yeah.
with Microsoft than they would have with probably PlayStation or something like
Oh, yeah.
that, or like things like that. But like I think it's just like I mean I don't know. I feel like bigger studios should just stick to them being on their them being independent from these big companies and leave like the more little bit more smaller studios or like creating your own other studio. Like I mean like Microsoft, I mean they went and made the Initiative, and they brought in different devs from all over the
All over
map
the
of
PlayStation
gaming.
scene. It would be
Well,
really
I
honest.
mean, it wasn't just PlayStation. They
It
did
wasn't
also bring
just,
in
but they took a
people from.
huge chunk of PlayStation developers into the
They
Initiative. Let's be
they
real.
did, but I mean, that's the thing. Like most of those, it's not like those developers are like, you know, it's not like them leaving is gonna deter the the games that are
We
coming
will have to
from those
see on
studios on
that one, brother.
PlayStation.
We have to see
Like,
on it.
well, I mean, it's been proven already. I mean, The Last of Us did well, like, I mean, there's people
Yeah,
who
The
left
Last
before
of
The
Us
Last
was
of Us
like
even came out.
90% done when the first people started leaving. So let's be real, man.
Well, I mean, we'll see about that. I just I don't think it's that big of a deal with these people when they leave their studios. Like they just want to do something different. Like nobody wants to make the same things over and over again. Like I mean, yeah, granted, PlayStation has, everybody knows that PlayStation has um a template, and their template is working for them, but sometimes people want to move on and do something else, do something different. So I don't think that them taking away from PlayStation Studios is really a bad thing, to be honest.
Okay, I got you, brother. Predator, you want to chime in on the Square Final Fantasy Game Pass scenario?
Table scraps. So like,
Wow.
how long have these
Not
games
wrong.
been out?
Well, they just said that more is going to be coming in
That's not the
2021.
question I asked. How long have these games been out?
From a while to recently.
So like table scraps. Like it's like, oh, I think we sold enough that we can sell. Let's go to Game Pass because it's a viable option. And I think Game Pass is probably the only reason these games are coming out on Xbox. I don't think that they would have even thought twice about putting them out there on Xbox if Game Pass wasn't a thing. That's just me. That's just my mindset. It's just a way for them to get a little bit more cash from Microsoft and put the games there. If that was the case, they'd be putting. Is it 16 that's coming out now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be putting that on Game Pass day and date. I'm sorry, on Xbox day and date. They wouldn't do this whole 1 year thing. So they'll do the 1 year wait. They'll let Sony. Maybe it's a marketing deal. I think someone said something about Sony funded it. But I do think like the relationship is getting better with Square and Microsoft, because I think Outriders. I think Microsoft has the rights, the marketing rights for that one. If I'm not
Really?
mistaken. I think I'm almost positive they do. I remember when I was looking on their website to pre-order, like you can actually pre-order it from the Xbox store, but like when you go to pre-order the other versions, you have to get it from obviously PC. You have to get it from Epic, But I think when you try and get it from PlayStation, you have to get it from their website. So that's kind of like a telltale sign right there. But I would like to assume that the relationship is getting better, where they're going to start putting games there, and maybe this is something that happened before. Like, I mean, these marketing deals sometimes get pinned years before we know about it. Like, even like, you know, how Sony was trying to get Starfield, you know, like before the game was even out. You know, they're trying to get that. So these marketing deals happen way before we know about them. So this might, you know, 16 Final Fantasy 16 maybe in one of those deals where they marketed it with Sony beforehand. But hopefully going forward, it's not going to be that anymore. But I mean, I look at it this way, dude. Like, it's extra money for them with these older games. They're putting them on Xbox at some point now, and, like, you know, they sold what they're gonna sell, and there's people who have Xboxes that are just diehard Xbox guys and are not gonna go buy a console for these games. So it's just like, yo, we can get it now, and here it is, and it's in Game Pass, and Microsoft already broke the bag for them. So that's the way I look at it. So I mean,
Okay.
for those people who like those games, they're there. But I mean,
Yeah, I can tell there's not a lot of energy behind your voice on this one. You could care less.
I've never been a Final Fantasy guy, man. I've never been a Square Enix guy except for maybe Tomb Raider, because I think they made that right. And that's it. I mean,
And that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much.
I can't really think of much else. I mean, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, so. But
All
you
right.
guys love it. Have at it.
Yeah, dig in, people, dig in. But yo, clowns, what do you think about this, man? More Final Fantasy in Game Pass. Are you excited? Does this show that, you know, developers do get something for putting their games into Game Pass? Because if you look at, you know, the relationships between, you know, Square and Xbox, Square and PlayStation, I think we can all agree that Square likes to lean towards PlayStation, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt in that. It just seems like there's more Final Fantasy fans, you know, on PlayStation. You know, thinking correctly on that. But I think, however, what this does for Game Pass is that it makes Game Pass look good, because it just shows more agreements for more style of games that people would normally play on PlayStation coming over to Xbox, no different than like the Yakuza series. So it's definitely a benefit for fans of Final Fantasy. They can come over to the Xbox ecosystem, whether it be, you know, on the phone, the PC, however they do these games, and get them into that ecosystem. So it's a win overall for Final Fantasy fans. For me personally, I mean, I'm not too bothered either way. I'm not huge on the Final Fantasy series, but I have friends that are diehard Final Fantasy friends. I could never understand why, but this is just that much sweeter for them. I mean, look what they did with Kingdom Hearts coming into Game Pass, right? So huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna get people excited. It's gonna get people over here, and that's the whole purpose of these things. I was very excited for Yakuza, and I never thought that would happen. That was like a dream for me. Even though I own like all the Yakuza titles on PlayStation, I get to earn achievements on them again. So it's a benefit, man. There's nothing that you could say negative about it. It's always a benefit. And, you know, like some people on the panel alluded to, yeah, these games are kind of old at this point. The series seems, if you're not a diehard Final Fantasy fan, it seems kind of like tiring that they keep just making titles. But at the end of the day, if it makes people happy, that's what it's all about.
At the end of the day, that is the gaming podcast quote for the community. At the end of the day. And I gotta say, you know, for people who are saying, like, you know, I can see the title Final Fantasy being tiring, but one of the cool aspects about every single Final Fantasy is their completely new stories. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like a linking sequential thing. I think the only one they did that is the one with lightning in it. They made which one was that?
They made like 3 or 4 of them. I have them too.
Yeah, but that was the only one where they made sequels to. Every other
Yeah, they
Final
made
Fantasy.
3. They made 3 of them. I'm thinking of Final Fantasy X. They did a sequel.
Wait a minute.
so much the sequel.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X did a sequel. Final Fantasy 13 did like 2 or 3 sequels,
yeah.
something like that. So like, yeah, I mean, you know, some of them do
Few and far
sequels, but some of them don't. Yeah,
Few
Yeah.
and
it
far
just
between.
depends.
You
If
pointed
they're
out
not
2 out of
essentially
15.
sequels, then why the hell do they keep calling them Final Fantasy?
Because they're all into like this Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Think of the multiverse. You know, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's like different. It seems like everything is on this same type of Earth, but it's really not. It's always different things going on. So
Yeah.
that's why Final Fantasy VII was remake was such a big phenomenon for Final Fantasy fans, because it was bringing back. It was bringing back this, and then of course, you got people that have different thoughts about the way that they've changed it. But I actually am for the fact that they've changed the plot a little bit, and not just make it the same actual game. I just wasn't the biggest fan of it being episodic, but that's another.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, every Final Fantasy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they're all different stories, which is refreshing when you think about it. It's not like sequels following a life and then the life of the son of the previous person or anything like that. I do like that about the Final Fantasy series, and somehow, some way, they keep that Final Fantasy feel. They keep the, I guess you could say, atmosphere together, even though it's a completely different story. I do like that about that. But guys, it is time to wind it down, man. It is time to wind down Episode 1, Season 4, next podcast. It is in the books, people. Yo, shout out to the chat, everybody that hung out with us tonight. Shout out to Cali Rex for coming in on that topic and sharing his views and opinions. Always love to have Callie on the show, on the channel. Shout out to my brother Clowns for hanging out with us for the night. Clowns, it is always a blast having you on. And, the more you say yes, the more I am going to have you on my channel being a special guest and stuff like that.
Yes.
Beautiful. Brother, we are going to start with you, because like a 40-year-old with a comb over, it is time to get those plugs in, and we are going to start with the host of Four Guys with Quarters. But not only that, you do other shows as well. Why don't you tell people where you are throughout the week, let them know about the Four Guys YouTube channel, and where they can go to talk games with you on social media, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Everybody can find me at Italian Clowns on social media, 4GWQ Podcast on social media, which is the podcast. I do the Four Guys with Quarters show that Xbot just mentioned, so check us out there. There's a lot of people on the panel now, and it's going to continue to grow, I think, so we get variations. I also do a new show with Flamish when he comes back from his month-long hiatus of driving a bus in Belgium somewhere.
It's going to be a month long, huh?
Yeah, it's a month-long hiatus, yeah. So hopefully his bus ride is all good. And, we've been doing a lot of interviews lately on Four Guys with Quarters. We just had Jackie Lastra on. She does a voice in Jensen Impact, but she does a ton of other voices for video games and anime cartoons, actually.
Oh,
and she's
really?
got a few.
That's a great game. I enjoyed that little indie game.
Yeah, she plays Zinglin, I think, is the name of the character. If I said it correctly, I probably pronounced it wrong.
Well, I said an indie game, but it's really a free-to-play game. But yeah, that's a great game.
Yep. And we actually have two big guests that I actually got a book. Been emailing them back and forth. They agreed to come on. We're going to have Jimmy Palmiotti, who's like a Hollywood writer, comic book writer as well. And he has done a lot with Harley Quinn. And
was that an entendre there? Like, was that a double meaning? He's done a lot with Harley Quinn, or
no, man.
His wife Amanda Connor actually is the one that redesigned Harley Quinn for DC.
So inadvertently, yes, he has done a lot with Harley Quinn. Got you.
Yes. And Jared Farber, who did the music for Teen Titans Go, and he also does other Hollywood scores, he's agreed to come on as well. So, and there's other guests too. There's actually a lot that I bad with names, and
Dude,
I always
how do
butcher
you
names.
get how do you get such incredible guests? Like when it comes down to it, and it does stretch beyond gaming. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's comic book, like you said, anime, TV shows, like dude, you knock it out the park when it comes to special guests, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I just love talking to people in the industry, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of them do follow me on Twitter and we talk back and forth in DMs. They like a lot of my positive posts and stuff, and they just tell me to keep at it, and I just interact with them, and I'm like, "Can you guys come on?" And they're like, "Yeah, definitely." And I reach out to them all the time. So that's the basis of it, man.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how many people that are in the film industry and things like that would just be like adamant about coming on to podcasts like this. Like they love doing that stuff, man.
Well,
They love
shout out
interacting
to all
with
them,
the-
and my DM is open to all you guys. I'm just saying, yeah.
They
Maybe
like
you
doing
get
that stuff. So
Maybe you get some people from the Halo TV series writers or something that wrote part of that or whatever. You know, maybe get some of those guys on.
Oh, dude. Oh, that would be insane, man. That would definitely be insane. But again, yo, thank you for coming on, bro. Did you let people know about the social media, like your Twitter and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, I did forget some other stuff as well.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, on Wilmy Hood's channel, we're starting a comic book podcast. Me, Leo, Jokey, and his other buddy. We're going to be doing a comic book podcast. So we're going to have some comic book creators coming on there as well. I'm going to ask
Nice.
like Frank Terry and a few others from Marvel. And you can
Name
find me on
dropping.
Game Beyond the Box Wednesday, 8 p.m. You could find me on Boom Show Mondays, Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends. And then you could find me on not only Golf with Your Friends Xbot, and everybody on this panel was allowed to play me, you know, because I got skills at golf. I'm just going to tell you that. But yes, to be on more Xbots podcasts as well.
Wow, bro. And
Wait,
again,
and K Mega's podcast coming up too.
you're gonna
Yeah,
be there.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, when it was gonna be my turn. Yep, I damn sure. will.
Oh, nice, man. Yo, Clowns is everywhere, and wherever he goes, you can guarantee he's gonna drop a name or two. It's gonna hit the floor. You gotta pick it up and be like, "Wow, that's who you're talking about." Yo, but great to have you on, Clowns. Next, let's go to Predator. Pred, I felt like your opinions were absolutely awesome tonight, as always, on point. What do you got for your outro, bro?
I got nothing, man. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't turned on my Series X yet.
I didn't turn it on, not yet. It's been a while.
I haven't really been gaming lately. I've been busy with work and with the holidays and stuff. And my other half is coming back from her deployment next weekend, so I'll be doing the pants off dance off all weekend.
That's awesome, Pred.
So
Good
like,
thing
yeah,
next
I've
podcast
been
is
busy
not
this
on
Oh
Saturday,
man,
so-
there was so many things I could have said. But
I know, K Mega, you really wanted to throw your bone out there, but
But I was like, no, I'm happy that your wife's coming back, bro.
but yeah, so my wife's coming back next week, man. I'm happy about that. And you know, I actually have not been doing a lot of podcasts lately, and I don't know if it's like, I mean, I know that our boy he's invited me to a couple of shows, and I've just been busy at work, and I haven't had a chance to do anything. So, but I do need to get back out there and just jump on some podcasts again, somebody else's podcast instead of this shitty one. And,
bro.
Yeah.
You know what? I've done GRG a couple of times in the past month or so. But
Yeah, nobody wants to be on that dollar store fucking
I know.
podcast.
But yeah, I mean, I'll get back out there once things start settling down here, when the wifey gets back and I get my kid out graduated and shit like that. So I mean, expect some more stuff coming from me this year, as far as jumping on shows and stuff like that. But right now, nothing. I ain't doing shit this weekend. I'm gonna play some finally get back into video gaming this Saturday and get into a Cyberpunk like I thought I would have been more into, and maybe knock out some DLC on fucking Gears, and that's about it.
All right, I got you,
Oh,
bro.
wait a minute. Hey, why are we still watching your shitty ass gameplay?
Are you're gonna?
We'll talk about that
Yeah,
offline.
yeah, we'll
Just-
talk about that
Vote
off
for
the air.
Fred. Vote for Fred.
We'll talk about that off the air, bro. Yo, Crispy, my brother, coming in with that hashtag Crispy Truth as always. What do you got for us for your outro? I know, man. You're everywhere on the scene in the community as well. So what's popping with you, bro?
Oh, I got all the combs in the 40-year-old. There we go. How about that?
40. I'm done with
Well,
you, Crispy. I'm done.
I ain't 40 yet, but I mean,
Honestly, I think
still
that's the
have all
funniest thing
combs.
Crispy's ever said.
Dude, I'm gonna be 42 January 15th, brother.
Well, thank you for telling us. Happy birthday, because I probably ignore you when it's actually your birthday. No.
Is that my present, Crispy?
Well-
You're gonna ignore me?
Well, it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live. Yes, I will teach you how to play Gears, for the love of God. People act like it's the hardest game in the world. It's just funny, including Xbox, by the way, with his 42-year-old self himself. Yeah.
Ass slamming third person multiplayer. I'm good, bro.
Well, you go and kill, bots all day. I mean, that's that what you do? Yeah. So,
I fight the darkness,
yeah,
sir.
we got Scumcast Saturday, and right after we got Extinction Level Gaming with Mr. Cali Rex, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then we got, of course, I'll be back here next podcast next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. And we have Breakfast with Boom Friday, 10 a.m. So I'll see you there. Laters.
Nice, brother. And of course, we got my brother who is here from the beginning, and somehow, some way, he is not absolutely sick of me yet. K Mega. Now, Mega, we know you got a show coming up. Definitely got to let people know about that. Your YouTube channel, streaming, social media. Dude, you got a list of stuff, so I should stop talking now and let you go.
No. That's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I'm always sick of you. But anyway, this is the thing. And Doc Arter, I will definitely let out those DMs that you was talking about, where you was calling me friend, begging for a pass. When you was begging for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I cannot confirm
I got
these
that evidence.
allegations.
I got that evidence. Anyway,
You got
but
the
no.
receipts?
You got the receipts, sucker. Anyway, but no. Yeah, I apologize because I was telling people that that I was gonna drop a couple of videos this week. After the crazy stuff that happened Wednesday, I've been glued to the news. And I was about to drop a video before I started before I started here, and then OBS was tripping or whatever. So I will try to see if OBS will be working right tonight, so I could drop a video, give my thoughts about what I thought about the crazy stuff at the Capitol. And then of course tomorrow will be the return of the GRG podcast. I'm looking forward to it because this year I'm going to be doing a lot more reaching out to people. Normally I would hit a couple of people up every once in a while, but I just kind of figured look, it's time to network a lot more. I just think that it's just the best solution, not only for just the podcast itself, but just for everybody everybody who may not know about the podcast itself and maybe have their own theories about it. So yeah, Clowns and Dirt will be on the show next week.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna have some new blood on the GRG podcast this coming up tomorrow, which is going to be our boy Yobi. And man, somebody called Still Rain. You guys may not know them, but he has a podcast out there. I can't wait for you guys to come and check them out.
Yo, Steel is awesome. I played Destiny 2 with him this past week. Yo,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. Good dude. So I definitely, those guys are going to be coming on. And then I got a whole list, man. We're gonna have Cognito come. We're gonna have Kev, Lady, as you know what I'm saying, Lady as fuck or AF, whatever you want to say. But we're definitely going to be we're definitely going to be doing it big. And and I got a crazy idea for the GRG I should say, what would it be, my fourth year? Hell, I have no idea GRG has been on. But anyway, but yeah, bringing back the guests back to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what my boy is doing. 108 Dragons. His Lions Den. It's not going to be coming out. I don't think it'll be. He might do a preview this week. I have no idea, but looking forward to see what he's going to be doing with that. Bot, we've talked about stuff. So
yes, sir.
We'll see if that's going to drop. The return of the Devin the Gamer, that should be coming back. So everything, I'm saying, I'm going to be back into the fold. And, of course, do not forget, I do stream on Twitch. I was supposed to be doing Halo night, but like I said, that crazy stuff that happened, I was just glued to the news. So I will definitely be probably trying to stream some Halo tonight. So if anybody wants to join me, some Halo 5, I'm on that quest for that 152. Come and check me out. And then also fight night every Sunday night from 9. We kind of start a little bit from anywhere from 8:30ish to 10. It just kind of how it flows, because our X-Man, he wants to probably work overtime. Yobi's doing his thing, Core's doing his thing, and so we kind of like try to find a place in there. But we'll definitely be there every Sunday night. And playing all different types of fighters, man. So yeah, I don't know what the list of fighters that we'll be having, but we'll definitely do it. And I appreciate for everybody to come and check us out, man. It's fun. Talk some trash. You might hear a K-Mega story or two, but I don't know. It's just what it is. And then last but not least, man, I will be doing some more streaming. I'll guess guys want to do some racing. I got to bring back the sports night. So yeah, I'm gonna be really busy now since I know that I got this time, got more time off. So might as well just go to make the best out of it. So I appreciate you guys.
Nice, brother. That was a long list. And guys, if you missed any of that, you could always come back and rewind and then listen to it again and make sure you are there for every one of those shows and live streams, people. Dark, my West Coast brother, again, one of the guys who just doesn't give two fucks and just tells people exactly what's on his mind, man. What do you got for your outro, bro?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Knoxximus on Twitter, and you can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. You can also find me on Pred's OnlyFans, giving out them dollars, baby. And you
a crusty old ass black man, a crusty old ass Mexican. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
You're my biggest fan.
Biggest fan.
Oh no.
You like that old crusty ass. I hear you, Chris Hart. Golly.
You guys can also find me tomorrow on, the Goodwill of podcasts, Crossfire.
The
what
podcast?
The Goodwill podcast.
The Goodwill podcast. Dude, when I get introduced on Crossfire tomorrow, I'm calling it that. I'm letting you know right now.
Dude. Yeah, and then of course, you guys can find me here on the Big Lots of podcast.
Whoa! I don't even know if they have. Bot even knows what that is. Oh my goodness!
He probably don't.
There's a Big Lots right down the street from me, too.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. All right. At least it wasn't a Dollar Tree or something.
Big Lots is everywhere. To be honest,
they got some decent popcorn.
They do, man. They do.
Y'all Big Lots serve popcorn? Hold on, I gotta ask my wife.
Well, they got all kinds of different popcorns there.
Yeah,
hold on, wait a minute. Hey,
not in Texas.
Do Big Lots serve popcorn? Yeah. And my wife was like, "What?" Oh, but she's bougie. She don't like to go to places like that. I'm just playing. What?
Is she bougie?
Yeah, I heard Big Lots got deals on bath mats right now. Deals on bath mats.
But she don't know. She don't know. I never heard Big Lots selling popcorn. I know furniture and.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
All I hear is
they sell groceries there,
man. Nothing.
They sell groceries.
Yeah.
Oh no, not our Big Lots out here. No, it's just furniture.
The Big Lots out here, man. They sell everything. They sell you freaking an arm and a leg if they.
Everybody, welcome to the Big Lots podcast. People, we will go
for
through
all your
specials
information
today.
for Big Lots in California. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But
Speaking of that, we're finally getting the Costco's out here. So.
all right. We're done talking about stores, guys. Yo, shout
That's
out
how
to
you
the
can
chat.
tell he's in the country.
Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I guess Dark Optimus is going to be a part of the panel that Mooch tries to build up against me in Crossfire tomorrow. So that is going to be very, very.
I'm gonna be on your side tomorrow, dude. I'm gonna be
are you
on.
sure?
I'm gonna be on your fucking side tomorrow, dude. I'm gonna do it.
You flop more than a fish out of water, man. So I don't know. If you're
You're
gonna
right.
Be dedicated.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be
flopped.
dedicated. To
I
this.
flopped like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, but again,
I'll change my mind tomorrow. Watch.
Shout out to all the supporters out there of the next podcast and this channel. Episode 1 is in the books, and I already cannot wait for episode 2. I will be changing the look of this show as well, and possibly using
better gameplay.
Using panel members' gameplay, except for Pred. I'm not using his anymore, just for him talking so much shit. But no.
It don't win anyway, so I mean.
Oh,
Everybody knows it's the best gameplay.
Wow.
My
But
new
guys,
video
It's always
on
Pred.
guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and I'm gonna end the show the way I always do. We will see you guys next week for the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
I feel like K Mega gets bots to
At
to
8
vote for
p.m.
his gameplay. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Bots?
Bots.
No.
Not Xbot,
No.
but bots.
Handshaking.
Bots.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow,
Oh
and
my
that's
goodness.
it. We're out. Yeah.